Hello, everyone. BSL Group D, standing for death. We have such an amazing group for you guys today. And, unfortunately, Seriosity had to take a quick emergency leave from today's broadcast. But I have a great surprise for you guys because I'm joined by none other than European Terran legend kogeT.
Thanks, Gypsy, for that little bit of hype here. Good afternoon, everyone. Very happy to be joining the BSL cast for tonight.
Yeah, man, I'm
And you're
excited,
right.
dude. No,
Yeah,
go
thanks.
ahead, go
And
ahead, go ahead,
likewise,
go ahead.
likewise. No, I think you're right. That D is for death. I mean, this is definitely one of the bigger groups for that stage. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, I have to say I'm excited to cast with you. Of course, we had to replace Nyokin with another Terran. I mean, Seriosity is our only Protoss expert here, but I know you've been playing a lot of Zerg lately, so I'm sure you're pretty excited to see this group. But yeah, man, I mean, we have Sziky, OyA, StRyKeR, and GosuDark. And honestly, I feel like anyone can make it out of today's group. What do you think? Because I know you've definitely played much more with, I tend to be pretty biased, right? Like, I think probably a lot of people will put StRyKeR and OyA as the two favorites. I know OyA has been a bit inactive lately. He's farming the Enigmas on Diablo 2 instead.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about OyA. You're right. I've been playing a lot of Zerg these days. Not so much. Maybe it started quite recently again. So I'm not 100% on top of how good each of them are. Of course, I played all of the four players in the group in the past as a Terran, so
Yeah.
I could talk about their versus Terran level. But here we're gonna have P and Z only, right? I think this
Yeah.
is a pure Pro Zerg group. So I think in the maps that we have in BSL are pretty reasonably balanced
Yeah.
matchup in that sense. About favorites, well, I think Sziky, maybe my personal favorite, but also known him for a long time.
Yeah.
Who's gonna be here for second depends on the form of the day probably. But again, in a ZVP group, I think Sziky is probably a little bit favored. While if we had some strong Terrans, right, then maybe OyA or GosuDark would have an edge. But here anything can happen. You're right. So maybe Sziky and then roll a dice, right?
Yeah.
Roll a dice.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. I think Sziky is the clear favorite here. He's definitely been on form recently. He's been playing in several show matches. I mean, he played in a show match earlier today, which didn't really go his way. But, the Chinese players have shown to be extremely strong. I think they took the overall show match 3-0, right, against the Europeans. So, but that was his EVP. We'll have to see if Sziky can. I think that was played live, right, Zero? The show matches?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so they were played live, and this group's also going to be played live. So Sziky hopefully has had some time to kind of, I think he's definitely warmed up, but at least he has some time to get his mental back in order here. But yeah, I don't know, man. Well, we have to say that the first map is going to be Revolver. I don't know how much you've been playing. Have you been playing the new season a lot, kogeT?
Right, a little bit, not so much. I actually tried at the beginning of BSL and I stopped. I realized I won't be able to play enough games, basically.
Yeah.
But I have played a little bit, maybe 20-30 ladder games so far. Actually, Revolver seems like a lot of people have it maybe vetoed on ladder.
Yeah.
I don't get many games on that map for some reason. It's Good Night, it's Fighting Spirits, this kind of maps that are played way more, I feel like. So no particular opinion here.
Okay, fair.
Not so much hands-on experience, at least.
Well, I've heard through the grapevine when talking to StRyKeR, for example, and I know I've been talking a bit to Scan. He seems to say that it's pretty decently favored for Protoss versus Zerg. And I think the general idea is that 973 is just not as strong, right? Because you have kind of the ramp to work with, and otherwise Zerg has to go all the way around. So it's generally not too popular, and Protoss gets to take that really safe third base. So I've been saying this whole tournament that it's a pretty decent Protoss map, but I mean the last two PVZs we've seen on there. I am thinking back to Group B. It was Cross versus Dark, and then yesterday was NBA versus Bobo. Both the Protosses lost. So as far as BSL is concerned, seems like Zerg's having a good time on that map.
Yeah, and Sziky versus OyA, that is like European final of PvZ, right? I mean, maybe, you know, of course, we have Dawid and Bonnet, but for that stage, for sure, we have this are, one of the best suited for their matchups here. So I think they'll play max. I mean, overall, I think a macro map, right? Rather defensive advantage for the player. You can take this 4 bases even pretty easy, you know, be it your next to your depending on which far you take. So I think definitely a longer game that I'm expecting here, but really curious how it's gonna go.
Yeah, here we have the statistics for both players. Obviously, Sziky and OyA. OyA has kind of had a meteoric rise since BSL, even season 8 or something, where he just came onto the scene and has just been doing better and better, and always just an established Protoss player at this point, as you mentioned, up there with Bonnet and Dawid. And Sziky, of course, I mean, he's been playing for years and years. I know, especially, even before StarCraft 2 came out, he was really good, and then after StarCraft 2 came out, he was just a monster and always on form. And I know from playing him, his macro game is just absolutely insane. The level of his multitask is incredible. So this year is going to be quite a matchup. I don't know if you remember, they've definitely played before, and I'm trying to recall. Maybe I'll look this up, but
we don't have a head-to-head record here, right? No.
Yeah.
But I mean, man, 70-24 ladder stats as a Zerg. That is intimidating, because I think with Protoss and Terran, it's a little bit easier to grind, good ladder stats, because there's no ZVZ, right? If you're really good, then you're just gonna get a lot of wins. But with Zerg, you tend to get those random losses versus Terran. Versus Zerg, there's just a bit more volatility, I think, to your results. By principle, right? By principle design of the matchups. So 70-24, I would be quite scared. And you're right, Sziky, a hardcore mechanical player, nothing about, his playstyle is, of course, very great, but I think it particularly stands out for his mechanical play, a great muta control, very high intensive APM. At the same time, OyA is the same, right? I mean, isn't this just going into kind of like a boxing match here, who hits harder? I mean, I know OyA likes to send those deals, perpetually, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
He likes to maintain the aggression. He likes to go for that chaotic game rather than defending in extra place. He would prefer to put pressure on your, additional base. And I think that we have Sziky on the other hand that again also loves his mechanics, loves to put, pressure with his Zerglings. I mean, this could actually either go into super long, extensive, big macro game, or just end very, very quickly with a decisive move.
Well, you're totally right, and this is going to be a boxing match for sure. So the game is ready. Players are set. Let's get into it.
So Gypsy, it's our first cast.
Yeah.
Would you like to start with the positions?
Well, if we get not a black screen, that would be there we go. Well, in the top left, we have the Swedish Protoss. It is OyA.
All right, and our European, I think, best Zerg currently for sure. In the yellow, in the top right position, we have Sziky, Hungarian star here.
So, kogeT, you are now the default Zerg expert.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, what do you
I think both players
to see today? From
right. I think both players pretty standard overall. I mean, except their characteristics as maybe being quite aggressive and mechanically oriented. I think pretty standard. I don't expect a course Reaver from OyA versus maybe a mass muta build, pure mass muta build from Sziky. I mean, you have the styles with Zergs and Protoss, right? So I believe it's going to be a gateway expand from OyA, and I'd say 10, probably a gateway expand, and just overpull from Sziky here. Or is it overpull or is it 9-pull actually?
No,
I don't know if paying attention. No, it's overpull. Yeah, of course. So very standard. I actually think this is good for viewers, because this may actually turn into a normal game from here, more likely than if it was like a 12 hatch that opens, you know, more aggressive options, and then also is more exposed to early pressure.
Yeah, and we're kind of hoping for just a brawl between these two players, as you mentioned earlier. I mean, they're both just so mechanically gifted and such strong macro players that I think, you know, it'll be just a treat to watch them play it out without, you know, one player having too much of an advantage early on. Now, on Revolver, it is interesting because, you know, as far as the Protoss is concerned, they have a couple of different ways to wall off their natural. In this game, OyA actually went for the pylon gate here, so that actually lets him kind of move the zealots freely, and I feel like that's a bit more aggressive, whereas some Protosses might actually opt to put the pylon behind and have gate forged there and just have it be completely tight. So that's an interesting characteristic. And you know, a lot of the times when I watch Sziky play ZVP, you know, I'm expecting him to go overpool. I'm like, yeah, this guy's a really, you know, he's strong mechanically, strong macro player. But he does tend to do 9 pulls a lot, and you know, like you mentioned, he's actually making 6 links here, so he does play quite aggressively early on.
That's a lot for sure. I mean, he had the early drone scout, and he knew that it's a gateway opening. If you face this as overpull, you can actually do two links for drone. Sorry, 2 links, 2 drones, and then keep massing Zerglings from there. Because you can use the initial 2 links to check the Protoss, especially on a map like this, right? Your initial 2 links, you can just send them to their base, and if they send a zealot to your base, you just land the Zerglings in their base. It's trouble. But here you see already, yeah, OyA, very good. He recognizes the danger, not trying to move any zealots out, but this is problem already for Protoss, I think.
Oh, that
he keeps making Zergs now.
Yeah, I mean, this is so scary for Protoss because the Zergling all-in can happen here. I mean, it is Sziky, so he's taking his gas. Looks like he's probably going to follow up with more drones, but getting the links inside of his main, or inside of OyA's main, it is going to be really hard to deal with as Protoss. He cannot afford to lose too many probes, but so far, Zerglings are not dead. They're not killing any probes just yet, so I think it looks pretty bad. Right? They're still in, so we'll have to see. But so far, this is looking okay for OyA. I mean, that could have been an instant disaster situation, but he's managing it well.
I agree. At the same time, though, Sziky did not commit to an all-in, unless these are links now in X. I think with these 4 links in the base, he can basically avoid any zealot pressure for a while. And because of that, he's actually winning on economy. I think, you know, it's of course also good for Protoss that he didn't invest yet in cannons and so, but his zealots are tied to his main. Zerg gets a full scout. He knows, you know, what exactly he's taken into, and he can just keep on droning. As soon as he sees that zealots leave, he can just add a bunch of Zerglings. Okay, there are actually zealots in the base here, but again, this is enough Zerglings, right? So this will not trade well for Protoss, and he keeps on having the Zerglings. This favors Sziky for sure, but let's see how they follow up.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that assessment, but I feel like Sziky still hasn't killed any probes, and these 2 zealots, sure, they didn't trade well, but they're keeping the Zerg in check, and oh my god, those links all died without killing any probes, I think. And you know, you have to remember, you know, Sziky's going for this fast lair, and generally when you go for fast lair, I mean, you have the drones mining on gas, your economy is a bit stale here, and he had to make a couple of links extra to deal with those 2 zealots. So if you look at a saturation, even especially in his main, he only has like 7 drones mining. I feel like, I'm telling you, man, I feel like OyA, he was close to like a really disastrous situation, but he's actually seeming to get out of it well.
Yeah, and OyA, as we talked about, he likes to turn up the heat a little bit. There's, you know, not even waiting, not trying to macro up. 2 zealots top line, 1 zealot to the bottom expansion. You know, even if these zealots don't necessarily do so much damage, it stretches his defense. He needs to make more links, he needs to be careful, and there's another zealot coming there. Oh my goodness, this is getting really chaotic at this point.
This is crazy, absolutely crazy pressure from OyA. Of course, we'll have to see how they trade. So far, these 2 zealots, one goes down with picking off just 1 Zergling, and that trade is not going to be good for OyA. But OyA is causing a lot of mining disruption at the natural. Behind this, yeah, dude, he is forcing so many lings. But behind this, OyA has a Stargate coming. But I mean, you know, the Stargate, we'll see if it kills any overlords. To be completely honest with you, he already has all the information he needs, but he's actually getting +1 core on his core. So I think OyA is just covering his bases against the possible Mutalisk switch. But look at these lings, man.
Yeah, there's so many links. I mean, I hope OyA doesn't go for another round of aggression, because the backstab could be deadly at this moment. I wonder what Sziky is going to do, because The problem is that he made so many links. As you mentioned, his economy is not really that good. I mean, I think a fair amount of drones at this point, but he needs to add his hatcheries. He is not making Mutalisks, so he's going defensive at this point. And I like this decision. I was worried that it's gonna trigger him to go into some kind of a Mutascourge build, add a second gas, and then you're pretty much committed to that build. There is not much more you can you can't really transition out if Protoss defends well. Then you're really forced into continuing that mirror production. But he recognized he has got a lot of Zerglings, so there's no immediate threat of extra Zealots. As long as he threatens the Corsairs away, then he can either go big Muta play on a lot of drones, free gases, or just go straight into Hydra. And I hope he's gonna go to Hydra because again, as you said, OyA is making +1 air. If he just stays long enough, but he's not making Corsairs.
Yeah,
very interesting. So kind of mind gamed himself there.
Well, he does have these 2 Corsairs. I think maybe he was flying around, saw that there was maybe a delayed second gas, and saw maybe the 4th hatchery as well. I don't know what tipped him off to thinking there's not going to be too many Mutalisks, but okay, he's resuming.
He's adding now, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, at some point, ooh, he can't lose these Corsairs.
Wow.
Though. Oh, he lost both!
Oh man, this is huge. This is actually huge because now Sziky, I don't know, he spent all his gas. I'm curious. I wouldn't be surprised if he already started making Mutas.
Yeah.
Again, as I said, just a later. Okay.
Ooh,
yeah, there are Mutas. They're already hatching. Probably 4 Mutas and a bunch of Skirt. I don't expect more than 4 Mutas here. Mm-hmm. It's the usual number I think that you want to make a Zerg because you can just twice hit probes. Twice hit probes, and it's just it's just good to fight with this. Chase away the Zealot, buy time for Hydra, right? That's the idea, and force Protoss into making anti-air.
Yeah.
Okay, like maybe 4 or 5 Mutas. Yeah, it's enough to force Protoss back, enough to make them consider threat, but not really so much to commit that you can transition into Hydra. But this fight, of course, goes nowhere further here. Now try to stand the cannon. This is the aggressiveness we're talking about. He killed 2 Corsairs before. He has got so many links. Now he has got pretty good trade. 2 Corsairs are out, but it's not enough. It's 5-6 Muta, and there could be a follow-up of Scourge Muta from him.
Yeah, there could be, and that is a lot of Mutalisks. He did. Whoa, that's actually 3 Corsairs already. I don't know. Does OyA have a second?
Are they +1, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think so, but they're +1. Look at the damage on this Mutas. 3 Corsairs. He's taking them out, but losing 2 at the end. So full Hydra transition from Sziky, looking at the gas count.
No, he does have 2 Stargates. Yeah. I mean, because I was saying, like, he lost those 2 Corsairs, and we were talking about how the whole time, it looked like OyA wasn't continuously producing Corsairs, and then he's up to like 2-3 Corsairs already. So super, super defensive. Well, I mean, that's a really interesting play from OyA because now he's wrestling back air control from the Zerg player. Of course, Sziky kind of and this DT, I mean, he's doing so much damage. 3 drones already.
Yeah, pretty good damage there for sure.
Yeah. And,
are there more Mutas?
No. Yeah, he actually has +1 carapace on his Mutalisks.
He didn't realize the second Stargate, so he added Mutas. That is bad for Zerg. I mean, this Mutas will do nothing as soon as the Corsair count goes to like 7 with +1 Corsairs. I don't know how many. Well, you still can win this in theory with a bunch of Skirt and so, but I don't think Sziky's expecting this. He's not gonna make so many. And now he's at the same time making Hydra. I think the best for OyA is just wait, to be honest. Yeah, fix his gas first and then wait. Just build up that army count. You get 4, 5, 6 Templars, bunch of Zealots and Goons. You're just standard 8-gate here, or maybe not 8-gate, just target, but just wait it out because these Mutas just go down in value, and as soon as you land a lot of high Templars that cannot be harassed by this Mutas with these Corsairs, then pure Hydra is not going to be enough. So pretty rough situation for a Sziky out of the group.
Yeah, and I mean honestly, OyA. Well, looks like Sziky's trying to
suicide. All these Mutas are gonna die.
Yeah, he has to spread them, but he's not going to. A couple of Scourge come in here. They will pick off maybe 1 Corsair, but it doesn't really matter because OyA is going to gladly take this trade. All the Corsairs just completely shredding the Mutalisk count down. And, I mean, what does Sziky have behind this? He has a lot of Hydras, but as we saw, OyA also has just so many Zealots. He has +1 weapons, probably +1 armor on the way as well. And I don't know, man, this doesn't look like someone who's been playing Diablo 2. I feel like OyA is just looking really strong.
Well, if he's been playing Diablo 2, then it looks like he's sitting there in full gear right now. I mean, +5 to all skills for sure. On that +3 on that torch at least. But yeah, this is some hard pressure on him. He's got 2 Sankens, a bunch of Hydra. So I think he's gonna be stopped. 2 Sankens is pretty strong to position your Hydras behind them. Looks like OyA is actually committed. No Storm, just pure Zealot, man. but there is no way you're gonna come in here. Maybe a third base now would be a wise choice. I mean, Sziky seems to be quite committed to this big Hydra Muta play. You know, it's difficult to transition out. He doesn't have that many drones. He's got plenty of third, but not so many in his natural, seems like. So there's, you know, some economical deficit in case he takes a big trade, I feel like. Yeah, exactly. This is just 9 drones. You can go for this, like, you know, 55 drones Zerg on free base and just maul Protoss with Hydra. But look at this. This is great. I think OyA is listening to the chat, or sorry, to the cast. Not fixing his gas yet, though, so he's gonna remain Zealot heavy for a while longer. But this is exactly what he needs to be doing. Sziky not even looking for a 4th base yet.
No, he is not. And well, it looks like Sziky is gonna try and take bottom right actually. And I was gonna mention Revolver generally it can be that type of map where you can play ultra defensively. I mean, both races can, but because of these horizontal spawns, I feel like the 4th base is a bit weirder for Zerg to take. Though bottom right in this situation makes total sense, right? Because how is Protoss ever gonna threaten that base?
Sorry everyone, I actually need to fix this, my first cast. I don't see the bottom slice of the minimap. I have a little thing hiding this, so I will I'll
the thing is the chat doesn't know, you know, they have like the full like 4K experience on their end, but we have like a 480p resolution.
No, this is good enough. I just need to fix it. But back to the game here. So 3rd base is up, a bit exposed 4th base for Sziky, but that's okay. Lurkers are out. 6 Courser remain. I think I don't think we're gonna see any more mutas from Sziky this game. But a big counterplay now. Walking straight into natural, no, but Sziky decides to go back, and I think that's a clever decision. These bases are actually very close to each other. It's relatively easy for Protoss to maneuver around between his natural and his 3rd base. So it's hard to put Protoss out of position. Again, as we talked before this match started, this map surely favors the defender, right? A lot of high ground, a lot of ramp. They're quite narrow. As you see, storms are just huge. Sziky needs to be careful to not overextend here, because if you look, you know, lose 12 Hydras, couple Lurkers, you're just so open to a counter-attack from Protoss. And if you look at it, it's actually very close to, right? Between the 3rd base of Sziky and a natural, 3rd base of OyA and a natural of Sziky. This is, I mean, very, very close distance to walk. No time to snipe those High Templars, no time to harass Protoss army, you're just gonna take a 5.
Yeah, and
a little contain also.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna ask you, well, it looks like a shuttle is coming in here, but it is gonna get intercepted. So really well defended there by Sziky, but yeah, I mean, as Zerg, where do you want to position your army? I guess where Sziky is, it's looking really strong, but it is kind of far away from his hatcheries. Looks like OyA is going to go for it.
Could be an overextension. Yes, exactly. Careful with the observer. The observer goes down. All that army has to pull back now, and so much damage on these Zealots. I mean, ridiculous amount of damage. I mean, Sziky really on top of his army control. I think he expected that this position is actually rather weak. So his plan was, you know, straight up for an observer snipe. I mean, not too many units, you know, just enough, limited vision from a high ground. And he was able, but now he's pushing in. Wow. I don't think this is going to work anymore. I mean, he had a good fight, but now he has to be careful. OyA with the 2nd round, no observer to spot no observer to spot the observers. He's going to try to remain here. There are no High Templars. What is happening here? Where are the High Templars?
He's powering through though. The upgrades on the Protoss army are quite impressive. I think that was insane. Also, he had a huge supply lead there. I mean, in terms of just the army supply, it looks like Sziky had so many of his units at mid right, at his natural, and now Sziky without that forward position, you can see bottom right is totally open, and it looks like OyA is just going straight there. He knew it was there was going to be a 4th base somewhere, and that's the most logical place to expand as Zerg. So he's going to deny this 4th base. But at the same time, yeah, is he going to be able to defend mid-left for himself?
I think so. I think he will again. I mean, a lot of cannons there. He's got actually some army already in his natural. I don't think he needs to, you know, add any more to the attack. The attack is easily going to kill that base, and Zerg cannot clean it because small ramp cross can just sit there. So Sziky deciding for a counter-attack, but again, his army is not that strong yet. I mean, he doesn't have a filer, you know, something to really go for these positions. He's moving everything, but OyA seems to be ready, to be quite honest. He's got a lot of guns, Zealots, no High Templars again. This is fantastic. But also, as we talked about, these players like the hit a big counterattack into natural OyA. At the same time, OyA pressuring the 3rd base to Sziky. It's going complete haven here.
Yeah, well, we'll see who has the better multicast. Looks like the Storm connects, though, and really Sziky has no more units to support these Lurkers, so they do become quite weak. Meanwhile, OyA has basically a pure Dragoon army, and it's one control group here, so this should also be cleaned up. It looks like Sziky's actually bringing all of his units here. Zerg, of course, such a mobile race, just intercepts this army and segments it off from the rest of the Protoss forces. And I mean, they're just, like you mentioned, kogeT, earlier, right? They're just brawling, but OyA, he's up a base. I mean, he's 4 base versus 3.
Yeah, he is, and I don't know what his status on tech. I don't see cracklings, at least on units. Yeah, it's only now started. So, I mean, Protoss with no hive tech, you know, you're not yet that extremely strong versus even Goon, Zealot if they are heavily upgraded. Now, of course, finally a couple of High Templars joining the army. But, you know, this mid-game fights, they go better and better for Protoss as they keep upgrading and they keep on adding high-tech units. So I think Sziky should be fully defensive now, but because without 4th base, you can't really be, right? He's in a situation there, he neither can attack nor really expand. So he's trying this sneaky counterattack, but again, this is not going at a 4th base, but rather at a natural, maybe hoping for some kind of a killing move, taking OyA off guard. But there's a Reaver already.
Oh my
This is gonna be an easy haul.
Yeah, no OyA already transitioning to Reavers, actually. That's surprising. I don't think Sziky even knew there was... Maybe he saw all those cannons, but I'm not sure he knew there was a base at mid-left. I mean, he saw probes transfer, so I'm sure he knows at this point. But this counterattack failed as well. And yeah, man, I feel like Sziky, he had the opportunity to play defensively, but after he held at that high ground, he just started pulling the trigger, and he's just been going attack, 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 attack. And OyA has just been on top of it all. And
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the upgrades though, Protoss still doing fine, 2-1, 1-2 for the Hydralisks though. So actually, we did have a decent upgrade, yeah.
Agreed. I think this is all the outcome of the Corsair switch and the Muta switch there, where he got just, you know, an easy clean on those early Mutas that gave him so much initiative. Another good fight for Sziky in the middle of the map, but Supply says a bit of a different story. It's still, you know, a lead for OyA. Zerg is slowly going out over the next, I think, 2 minutes or so.
He doesn't have an observer.
Yeah, he doesn't have an observer. He has Reavers, but no observer. 2 observers in the other side of the map, so a little bit of pressure. OyA recognize they are there, so they're coming back now. But before they are back, I mean, there's going to be another round of units for Zerg. But again, I think now Sziky is realizing there is a 4th base. I actually believe he doesn't know. It seems like he may send a unit there, or maybe he spotted that there are so many cannons. Oh no, he wouldn't be trying to attack this if he knew what is there. Oh no.
Well, at least he knows. At least he knows now where he's at. But slowly but surely, I mean, you know, this really looks good for Protoss. But I feel like Sziky, he's kind of pulling it together, and OyA seems... I feel like if there's rust to be shown in this matchup, it's definitely in the later stages. Looks like OyA's just attacking left, right, and center, but he has such a small army that it gets cleaned up so by the Zerg player. And despite the fact that Protoss is honestly in a really good spot, he needs to just kind of start playing a bit slower and just mass up a big ball.
Right, yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it's still a Protoss game to lose. By the way, another 2 observers going down. The problem that Sziky has is that it's going to be very difficult to defend all the points. You can't really set up a big lurker contain and abuse kind of, you know, swarm setup where you have 3 bases defended by 1 position. So I think that will still be an issue. And you can see now individual units going to that Protoss mid grinder here. No Zerglings can even you know, get to Goons. It just all stops at Zealots. And I think it's going to come down to the next minute or 2. I mean, is OyA will be able to pressure the base? It seems like yes, there's a big group of units coming in where they will probably kill that hatchery, or maybe half the units go inside, and another round of units with a Reaver. So it's a Protoss contain rather than a Zerg contain here on that high ground with lurkers. I think Sziky has run out of steam, to be honest. I feel this is actually, I think this is really bad now. 2 lurkers, there is an observer, so he will be able to clean it up. Oh, it's a shame.
I totally agree with you. I mean, it looks like Zerg's kind of running out of units, and unfortunately for Sziky, he didn't have time to get a Nidus up at bottom right, despite having Hive, so no way of defending this base. I feel like maybe if he had gotten that Nidus up, he could have eventually taken the 5th base, like the natural, to this 4th base, and maybe grinded out a game. But because OyA is busting this down before Defilers are out, I think, yeah, it's going to be really hard for Sziky to establish a 4th base from here on out. As you mentioned, kogeT, it's really hard in these positions for Zerg to kind of put their units in one place and hold multiple bases, right? Shuttle harass as well. He has shuttle speed. Maybe that's why he doesn't have that many observers, right?
The best alive.
Yeah, I think he still only has 1 robotics, but this Reaver is doing so much damage, man. 25 kills probably 4 more, so close to 30. And yeah, man. Oh, Storm Drop as well at bottom right. Just multitask central.
Oh, look at the drones. No, they're going back. Yeah. OyA is picking Sziky apart, and again, this is one of the strengths of Protoss. When you harass, one big round of gateways, and you can really overwhelm your opponent, right? It's just at this stage of the game, Protoss can just move so many units. I think it's a matter of time for Sziky here. If I were to summarize this game, again, this Corsair switch for sure, the Mira switch, OyA really there sitting in Sziky's mind. Yeah. Maybe Sziky could have, been a bit more adventurous with his build. Maybe just try to sneak a 4th base earlier, try to drone harder, creating some kind of a defensive position with Hydra, and then he would cut up. Still, what we see now is that you can see that actually he has got still a lot of minerals in his main base and his natural. And for me, that is a signal that he's just been running low drones for majority of that game. And what we see, despite the bad trades from OyA, it doesn't really matter because there are just so many more units. The 4th base that came in quickly from OyA was unnoticed. That is basically, the effects of scale that are winning him the game here.
No, I totally agree with you. It looks like OyA is going to push in here and kill this mining base and 3 hatcheries as well. Ooh, Fat Storm just kills absolutely everything on the screen. Oh, he's actually storming his own observers, but does move that one out of the way, so at least he has protection. I mean, Zerg might be able to see you. I don't know, kogeT, like, it looks every time we're talking about how Protoss is ahead, but he's just having such a hard time to really convert his massive advantage, and I totally agree with you. I mean, he's been ahead this whole game, but just bleeding units and the attacks aren't as clean as possible. Looks like killing that hatchery though and killing all those drones, but look at the supplies, man. I mean, it's still kind of close. I feel, I don't understand how the supplies are continuously this close, and I feel like if Zerg ever gets Defilers out and stabilizes on this new base, maybe, just maybe he can grind it out. I mean, look, Protoss is mined out at his natural, at his main. If bottom left gets intercepted, if maybe he intercepts like a probe transfer and then gets his own bases up, like it doesn't look over, man.
Yeah, you're onto something here. I mean, again, you're right. Protoss has been Zerg has been somewhat low in echo, but now I think he's catching up with the 5th base possibly. If he can, rebuild the drones that he lost now, and then maintain the pressure with Defiler, and it's pretty easy to do it, right? The top base doesn't have any high Templars, no Reavers. Really, 1 Defiler, 12 links can clean the 3rd base. Oh, look at this! That's the backstop, perfect. That is the kind of moves that he needs to do here. So Protoss back and forth, but I think now it's time to defend, right? Now it's time to really focus on your 5th base, put all the lurkers there. I don't know if there's Nidus already in the up. No, there's no Nidus. But a lot of lurkers. You just need an Overlord, maybe some Hydra there, and he couldn't really hold it because again, if OyA trains this base or the 2 bottom bases of Zerg, this is still a big win for Protoss, and there are 2 Reavers and Shuttle there, so no lurkers will be able to defend this position perpetually.
Oh, but he's just going in there!
Straight into this.
And
where's the observer?
That's 5 lurkers, okay, but the lurkers actually die. More units coming in for Sziky, but without the
now it's a position.
Bad drone. Yeah, the Reavers are just perfectly placed here. They're absolutely shredding all the Zerg units. With the Storm as well, it's still not that, another Fat Storm. It's not that many Protoss units, but they're just so perfectly positioned that they completely overwhelmed the Zerg base. And without a Nidus at bottom right, which, honestly is just such an unfortunate blunder by Sziky. He had so much time to get a Nidus out. I don't think he can defend. Yeah.
Yeah, well, now look at this. The river went down, so actually there's an Archon. That Archon is crucial. 2 Archons in the shot. What is happening? Where are these units coming?
I'm watching StarCraft too, man.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like exactly precisely here. And I don't know. I don't think this base is at threat anymore. I mean, there are just 2 units remaining. But again, the hatchery is down. OyA actually very, very aggressively expanding towards Zerg there. Again, talking about the Defiler press, but the problem with Defiler is that they require money. The Defiler mount requires money and upgrades, and so I need to consume units, and the unit is diffing that Zzyky doesn't have, to be honest.
Yeah.
He's still, he can't catch a breath, basically. The amount of pressure that OyA is putting on him with constant attacks and harassment, they just put so much pressure. He can't he can't keep up with building a Nidus, adding in drones, and kind of like switching gears as Zerg, right? And if you don't switch gears as Zerg, if you're kind of like stuck on constantly producing Zerglings, just trying to survive, that Protoss is just gonna outgrow you with tech, and I think that's what we're seeing now again.
Yeah,
so not the cleanest game, as you said, but I do believe we're heading to a conclusion here.
No, but you were right about this being a boxing match, and I was joking about this last stream. It was like, I forget who we were watching. I think it was Pork versus the Chilean Terran Ultra. They were having a slapping match, man. They were just trading slaps back and forth, and I feel like this game was kind of like that. I mean, OyA was leading the whole time, but I think towards the end, if that last attack at bottom right hadn't panned out, he could have like realistically lost this game, because he lost bot left and he was mining off just 2 bases, and then Zerg would have been on 3 bases with 5 tech. But OyA just impressively pushes in. GG is called by Zzyky, and surprise, the Diablo 2 player came out ahead.
Yeah, very nice opening game here. I must say, this was one of the 2 scenarios we had in mind. It could either go into that extensive late game where both of them try to out multitask each other and just be everywhere and non-stop pressure, or just end very quickly. I'm happy it turned into that macro scenario, because I think there were quite a few cool actions. I mean, again, the highlight definitely the Corsairs catching the mutas there. Some of the failed counterattacks from Zzyky, that was a shame. I think he had some good ideas, but again, this map, little ramp, it's tough to really counterattack your opponent. And then ultimately, for sure, a little bit of a light at the end of a tunnel there for Zzyky. Maybe if he was a bit more defensive, maybe a Nidus, maybe a Defiler in position, he could have converted that game into a win at the end.
Yeah, no, and I think it was some really great presence of mind from OyA after he lost his first 2 Corsairs to just put down that second Stargate, recognizing that the Mutalisk threat was just so obvious, right? To just counter it right away. And I mean, I still think Zzyky, there was that time where he was positioned on that high ground there with the Lurker Hydra right after the Corsair switch happened, and sniped that observer, and then it looked like he was going to get more Lurkers. I feel like maybe at that point, if he was maybe a bit more defensive, but instead he pulled the trigger and like moved down to the low ground, and instantly got slapped back by the Protoss player. But really impressive game from both players. I mean, it was kind of what we were expecting, I guess, or at least what you predicted between these 2 players. And damn, we were saying Zzyky is looking like the favorite this group, but after this dominant performance, honestly, from OyA, I feel like, I mean, both of these guys are looking to get out.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, and I would probably list OyA as probably the second or the first one in the group. But again, I still believe in ZVP, anything can happen, right?
Yeah.
We have best of 1s now. So we're gonna have best of 3s in the loser match, right? And in the advancement match. So I think it's still very much open. I mean, this was best of 1 on a bit of a different map, I would say.
Yeah.
Not necessarily maybe fitting Zzyky's or OyA style. I think we had some choices here that could have been, much more efficient on other maps. Like what comes to mind, for example, Polypoid, right? When you have those wide ramps, and I think there you can maybe win with such a decisive play when constantly being aggressive. Here, I think we had some tough exchanges, but ultimately, OyA came out on top.
Well, we are gonna get into the second game here. It's not just Zzyky OyA in this group. We've also got StRyKeR and GosuDark. And let me tell you something. StRyKeR is for sure my dark horse of this group. I think StRyKeR, his raw skill, like his objective skill, is absolutely insane. But I think, he tends to get really kind of nervous in tournament settings and show match settings. But if he plays his game, I mean, this guy, especially ZVP, he's an absolute beast. And not just that, I mean, GosuDark, GosuDark, man. I mean, he's always a threat. of course, GosuDark from Peru. And, you know, seriously, most of the time, I think people talk about GosuDark when they... I feel like GosuDark has had... Most of his games have been PVTs in BSL. And, you know, PVT can be kind of a tricky matchup for Terran. And, you know, when you talk about GosuDark being dangerous, you know, a lot of people do refer to his PVT, but I've seen his PVZ. It is quite solid. And you can see here, I mean, GosuDark's been in BSL Pro League for so long. I mean, BSL since Season 8. I'm sure he's been there even before that. Managing to make every single BSL season. I think, though, he hasn't made it out of the round of 24 in a while here. BSL 10, 11, and 12. He has stopped short. So hopefully today he has a chance of getting out of this group. Up against StRyKeR. Now StRyKeR has had a couple of showings as well in the BSL Pro League. But, you know, not quite making it out of the round of 24 himself either. Last season, he was in the Gosu League, and he was the winner of that, which is why he got a seed directly into this tournament. And yeah, man, again, like StRyKeR has just absolutely upped his skill recently. And it looks like kogeT honestly is having a couple of issues with his internet. So, you know, I'm gonna just be talking here, guys, monologuing as the big Jip does generally. I think the game is ready, right? So Revolver is gonna be our map again, game 1. StRyKeR versus GosuDark. Let's get into it. And we're in spawning the top right. It is StRyKeR as the blue Zerg. And in the bottom right, in that sexy pink color, it is GosuDark as the Protoss. And yeah, I mean, GosuDark, I'm curious to see what he's gonna do. Last game we saw Gateway expand from OyA G, but so far the South American Protosses, which, you know, we've basically only seen South American Protosses play PvZ on this map. You know, we saw NBA, we saw who was the Protoss before that? I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, but we've only seen, oh, Dark. We've seen them all open with the Forge expand. And again, you know, this is something I was mentioning last broadcast. I feel like Forge expand, not a bad idea on this map because 973 is just not as prevalent. With that positioning of the pylon, looks like, you know, he wants to go for the Gate Forge wall off. So, and with the early scout, it is looking like a Forge expand here. So GosuDark also going for the Forge expand, which I think StRyKeR will be happy to see. I mean, StRyKER is the type of player that he just wants to play a nice, calm, relaxing macro game where he can just hit his build order, and his build orders are probably the best outside of Korea. I mean, StRyKER, I think, has the best knowledge of, like, just build order wise of all Zerg players outside of Korea. He can hit some sick supplies. He knows when to get what. He studies a lot of games. Looks like the probe here from GosuDark is gonna trade with the drone. Oh my god, that was so close. StRyKER, I'm telling you, he was sweating there, man, because if that drone goes down, that is such a huge loss for Zerg. But also if the probe goes down, that's a huge loss, especially if you're going something like Forge expand. Now basically GosuDark has zero scouting information, though he did see that it is going to be a overpool. Now on these vertical spawns, the rush distance is so short that I actually think it makes sense for GosuDark. You know, generally you can go for that 13 Nexus against overpool, but in these positions it is wise to just get the cannon first, because it's very possible that had GosuDark went for the Nexus, the Zerglings could have been there in time to kill the first cannon. Now StRyKER generally, again, he is very passive in this sense. He doesn't tend to go for quick kills, so him opening 2 Lings like this makes a lot of sense to me, because I have seen him play a lot. And, you know, GosuDark's going to be feeling pretty good in that he's scouting here. You know, the thing with... Okay, actually, hold that thought. I was going to say, with 2 Lings, it's pretty hard to reliably kill the probe. But he did, actually. So that was huge. Now GosuDark is playing in the dark. And I know I keep saying 973 is not really... You know, Hydras are not that much of a threat on this map. But I mean, they still are. You know, recalling Queen versus Mini in ASL semifinals. By the way, guys, the finals was amazing. Make sure to watch it if you haven't. But I remember watching Queen actually going for a Hydra bust, but that was following up like a 5 pool. It was kind of a clowny game. But the Hydra bust did come in, and you can still kind of go all the way around. Though, because it is StRyKeR, and because it is like a best-of-1 tournament setting, where I think he should feel like he's a bit of a favorite against GosuDark, I don't think he's going to take those types of risks. Instead, he's going to play ultra defensively, and that's really good for GosuDark, because despite losing those 2 probes early on, he's still on just 1 cannon. Just 1 cannon core. That's actually so risky. He could have died to so many things. Could have died to Ling all in, especially with this wall off. Actually, the forge is out in front, and like when one building sticks out, you can kind of mass Ling all in it and just kill the building and run in. So a lot of weaknesses here for GosuDark. Maybe he's playing the player. You know, he knows he's playing StRyKeR. StRyKeR, of course, he just loves his drones, man. He is kind of the modern drone man. Looks like he is just making drones. GosuDark, of course, has a Citadel coming as well. And yeah, 2nd cannon in time here for possible Hydras, possible 973. So GosuDark not playing overly greedy. But yeah, this is going to be kind of a build-up phase. In these positions, I was going to mention last game, you know, when any player expands vertically on this map, it's quite hard to kind of play defensively, but when you're expanding horizontally, I think it's a bit easier to just have a slow game. You know, because StRyKeR just starts building bases towards the top left, and Protoss does the same. It's kind of really hard to attack. You can use the back path to position your units and intercept at the ramps. Both players can. So I'm expecting to see a really long game. StRyKeR is just playing super standard 5 hatch, Hydra Den Evo chamber, 2nd gas. This is as standard as it gets. You get the Overlord speed, you get +1 weapons on your Hydralisk, get the Hydralisk upgrades, and Protoss actually not going for +1 air weapons. And wow, that robotics is actually really fast. What? Off of 2 gateways? Huh. He does have the Templar Archives, so this to me is looking like a fast DT drop, which, I mean, oh, so does StRyKeR have a Spire? He has a Spire, right? Does he have a... He doesn't have a Spire, so that's actually really interesting. I didn't notice that. StRyKeR went for a really fast lair, but no Spire. So prioritizing his economy, prioritizing getting the hatchery count up first. And GosuDark, recognizing that, is stopping his Corsair production, and he's going for a really fast DT drop. So I actually really like this from GosuDark. And, you know, without the Spire, basically, GosuDark can kind of clear any forward scouting overlords like you saw on mid-right. I don't think there's anything... Maybe there's an overlord spawning at mid-right. Oh no, that's a Ling. So, okay, StRyKeR kind of knows it's a possibility here. So both players playing really well. But this DT drop, is it going to be 4 DTs? He has 2 DTs out on the map. I think he's bringing them back. He has 2 D... Yeah, well, we'll have to see, actually. This is really interesting. Look at StRyKER's supply, man. This is one thing I'm telling you guys. His builds are just so clean. If Protoss does not have like a really strong build order, they can get overtaken in supply quickly. And for Zerg to be already even in supply, I mean, I know GosuDark's going for this more tech-heavy line, where he got his robotics and his Templar archives really early. He got 4 cannons here.
I think I am back, Gypsy.
Oh,
Can
you're
you hear
back
me again?
Yeah.
Wow.
Welcome back, dude. I'm glad you survived.
Sorry, my little son decided to unplug the router and it wouldn't come back to life. So regular events at casting at that time of hour. But I can see the game has developed already 8 minutes in. I mean, there is a big DT drop, and it's so far unspotted. What's gonna happen here?
Well, yeah, I mean, this is 4 DTs too, but it looks like StRyKeR already has Overlord speed, and these DTs are not going straight for the mineral line, so luckily for StRyKeR, I don't think he's gonna lose too many drones. We'll have to see here. I mean, these DTs are only targeting the Hydras. Corsairs are gonna try and shoot down these Overlords, but I think there's so many Hydralisks here that they're gonna clean everything up. Yeah.
Huge win for the Zerg. If this happens to me and I'm playing Zerg, I'm feeling like, yeah, all right, let's add the 3rd gas, let's add a 4th base, let's add 15 drones, kind of like concept, right? It's a big win. It's a big win. But this game, I have not followed from the beginning, but it looks quite sound other than that. No 973 on that beautiful defensive map, seems like.
No, actually, StRyKeR went for a really standard build. He went 5-hatch lair, but he skipped the Spire, actually, so that was interesting. And I think GosuDark, he saw that there was no Spire, and he went for that DT drop, but it didn't pan out. So, and now, I mean, look at that. Oh my god, Zerg's on 7-hatch already. This is what I've been trying to tell the viewers, is StRyKeR, his build orders are on point. Like, if you want to learn build, because this guy, he's always... he gets coached by some of the Korean players. He studies a lot of the VODs. He studies like Soma. This guy knows his build orders. And look at the supply. I mean, if you're Protoss, you're not feeling good here.
Yeah, for defense Protoss, he's getting his 3rd base already up and running. So this is pretty early, considering current metagame. He's in a very defensive position, but also StRyKeR is not really falling for that, right? He's getting 4 base. I think there's another shuttle coming in. Yeah, and this time I bet it's some kind of a storm drop, especially on this position. This could be very ugly, in fact. Is this a DT? Or is it Zealots? Okay, so going for some extra harassment here, but well, this could actually catch StRyKeR a little bit off guard. 4 Hydras here, if he uses Zealots to attack, and they'll hold his armies in the middle of the map, so very annoying to deal with. Very annoying to deal with. It's gonna get by a lot of time, but there's a big attack on the 3rd base, so some commitment here. But again, I feel these bases, Natural and 3rd base, they are so close together that they may be able to, it's very easy to move army around, and so many drones are dying. Yeah. 105 supply. Okay, so this shows only part of the picture.
Well, the thing about losing, does he have? No, he doesn't have drop. The thing about losing this many drones at this stage in the game is that Zerg doesn't really care. He has 7 hatcheries. He can just rebuild them right away. So, when you do this type of damage as Protoss, you kind of want to do it a bit earlier in the game before Zerg gets their infrastructure up. Because look at that, man. He just doesn't care. He actually lost quite a lot of drones at his main. But look, they're already built back. And Protoss instead, the one thing about GosuDark's build here is that he just has so many cannons. I think he's only on 4 gateways, and that's a big problem, and that's why he's lagging so much behind in supply.
Yeah, very. Hats off to StRyKeR for recognizing that Protoss went for this defensive harassment style, and obviously he called well the 4 DT shuttle drop, and from there he said, okay, no problem. I'm just gonna make 60-65 drones and have an explosive economy. I mean, you can go 10-12 hatcheries of that, whatever you like. You can go 3 evos, and if you get into late game as Zerg, into your 5-6 bases, triple evo, plenty of everything, you're almost invincible. I mean, Protoss needs to find some kind of an opening before that happens, because Zerg scales up really well when you get to that tier 3 high upgrade play kind of situation. But before that, that's where Protoss can do something. But right now, GosuDark, other than this DT, which is great, but again, I mean, if this drone's attack move, this DT will be gone in a second. There are so many of them. StRyKeR doesn't even see it, but it doesn't even hurt that much.
Conceptually, what's interesting here is, this DT is killing so many drones, but just because StRyKER's playing the way that he's playing, it's like a counter to harassment style. Like when you're over droning like that, you almost want your opponent to invest in harassment because you don't care.
Yeah.
You know, actually, like they had this AI for StarCraft 2, right? I forget whatever it's called, like the deep AI or whatever.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And
Alpha Star, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, Alpha Star, and the meta that the AI developed was to just overmake workers because everyone on ladder was playing this super harassment style, and no one really understood like why are you oversaturating your bases, and especially in StarCraft 2 because it's like you can see the worker count. So I feel like it's the same situation here, and GosuDark trying to push out to take a 4th base, but just to get the supply, man.
Yeah, and I think that's the right choice, to be honest. I don't think GosuDark can be aggressive. Again, not on this map for sure. Maybe he's gonna go on the map, but again, what he gets counterattacked or his army gets smashed and there is no recovery from this. So going for that for the 4th base is a good idea. Again, StRyKeR, despite having a magnitude of drones and a lot of army and a lot of supply, still on 1 able. His hive only now started. You know, if you as Protoss can get to like 6, 8 High Templars, each High Templar 2 storms, Hydra Lurker just stops being a threat. You can just brute force for any position, right? If you have that big ball there. But I don't think GosuDark is yet there. He's moving out on the map, and you can see the flag from 3 sides from StRyKeR. Don't drive for the bottom, but storms are on point here. Although this is just pure Dragoon. I mean, this is not gonna trade well. Although still remaining storms, he has to be throwing each of them accurately, and that I think this is actually very good trade for GosuDark. Look at the supply, and because this fight is happening in the middle of nowhere, neither party can really reinforce this position easily. So I actually think very good cost efficiency. Now 4th base from GosuDark. I mean, you see, I think we have another comeback game here, but this one looks real. Although the girls are gonna go now. Oh no.
It was, I mean, that was really good for GosuDark, and I was looking at that. The one thing for GosuDark is that he actually has no armor upgrades, and these days you really want those armor upgrades early on. But he does have 2 Forge behind this, so that was a really good trade, taking this 4th base. If he can hold on to this 4th base, I mean, look at StRyKER's side of the map.
I think he can.
Yeah. And, I mean,
our base has got so many cannons.
And like you mentioned earlier, his hive tech is a bit late, and the other part is, you know, you have to have that switch in your approach, right? Like, StRyKER was dominating this game. He had a full contain outside of Protoss's base. And he, you know, in his mind, the plan hopefully was, I'm going to just make a lot of units and hopefully Zerg, or Protoss just suicides into me. But all of a sudden, he has to play a long macro game. You know, because Protoss has his 4th base, then Protoss realistically can expand to bottom left. So StRyKER has to think, damn, I didn't just win this game. I have to keep playing.
Yeah, and that was good decision making by GosuDark. I mean, horrible opening, but look at this. A lot of Hydra streaming into that position, but I think GosuDark is ready. I mean, the Zealots, even though not upgraded, they trade pretty well versus, you know, small groups of Hydra. And now GosuDark, actually, I think he made a point. No, you're not moving me away from that position. I will take my 4th base. I'll be the one putting the pressure. I'll keep my army in the middle of the map. You have to go back to your base and put some defense. So huge swing of momentum coming here. The Lurkers are not touched yet. I think GosuDark needs to be careful though. I mean, he shouldn't overextend again. I mean, he feels that, you know, he kills so many units, but we can't forget how many hatches, how many drones StRyKER has. He's gonna be revealed quickly. Look at this. These Lurkers are not yet there. These Zealots are doing a great job stalling some additional Hydras. The Storms are gonna be crucial. If you can land those, very good micro. The Lurkers are
he's burrowing them in the Storm! Oh, but that was a fat Lurker spines. You saw those spines? They just evaporated like 4 Dragoons. But is it going to be enough? I mean, look at the mini-map. There's so much pink coming across the map. I think GosuDark's done it, man.
I think so too, and it is again the same situation with Sziky. Zerg needs a critical mass of units. If you have 6 Hydras, you can't fight 6 Zealots. If you have 20 Hydras, you can find 20 Zealots. You put them in a good position, you know, the range attack just is better than melee attack. But this is exactly that situation. If you don't have enough units, you can't even approach Protoss army, right? It's just gonna completely tear you apart, and this is what we see now. With that 4th base down, it seems like there's no plan B for StRyKER.
Yeah, this is heartbreaking to watch because he was in the most dominating position, and I think he probably got complacent, you know, and started, you know, when that GosuDark's army went to mid-left and to the middle of the map, StRyKER was like, you know what, I'm winning so hard, I'm just gonna box and move all my units. But GosuDark just had such a good position that he traded so efficiently, and it just snowballed from there because he had you know, the whole game he was lagging in supply because he was on 4 gate, but by the time he had his army in the middle of the map, he was on like 10 gate and double forge. So now it's just unrecoverable for Zerg, honestly. I mean, this is looking really bad.
And again, this supply 80, 83, 84. I mean, this is at least 50 plus drones. I feel.
Yeah.
I mean, he is so heavily stun rated. Oh, huge storm again. No lurkers even. Another very big storm. I mean, this Hydras. I mean, are basically butter at this point for the Zealots. I don't think. Yeah, I think we're gonna see GG any minute. GosuDark even sending quite a sizable army top left, expecting a base there, but this is basically all what StRyKeR has to work with in here. And I mean, yeah, exactly. GosuDark is maybe even thinking himself, what am I missing here? Why is he still in the game with you know all that army that I have? And he's probably right. He's not missing anything. He's even adding extra cannons, maybe anticipating a swarm counterattack or something like that. Oh, so many Zealots and Archers and High Templars. I think this is gonna be nailed to the coffin, to be honest. This next attack is not something that StRyKeR can hold on.
No, definitely not. And honestly, I feel like Revolver, it's a tricky map because, again, it's just so defensive. On most maps, like if this was Fighting Spirit, if this was, I don't know, like Sylphid, if this was like, I don't know, even Good Night, when you have an advantage the size that StRyKeR did, he can just barrel it down and kill the third base or do whatever. But on Revolver, you can just stall the game out and play defensively. And I mean, still the person with an advantage should still be able to get into late game with an advantage, but you just can't instantly win. And I feel like StRyKeR just didn't have that foresight, you know, to just slow down a bit and secure his side of the map. And now GosuDark with the killing move. That's so many Zealots though. Like no
goons, but I still think it's enough, right? If he starts the lurkers, this Zealot, they will fly. And it's a good point of fight. Just go straight to the base. Make Zerg on borrow. The pattern with here, Gypsy, is for sure that the attacking party on this map didn't have that much success. Yeah, I mean, we see the same with Sziky and his counterattacks. Similarly, overextended from a pretty okay. Very similar StRyKeR. He went down with a lot of units. He didn't know when to go back, and yeah, that's what we see here. I mean, there's 30 Zealots running in your base. That's what you get overextending your attack.
Yeah, and I think StRyKeR, he's gonna play it out. I mean, it is a tournament game. You don't want to leave prematurely. I think sometimes the players also, like, they know it's a tournament game and that there's an audience. You know, you don't want to just like leave the game when it's not clearly over. But you know, and maybe he's trying to get some of his jitters out as well. But yeah, I mean, this is GosuDark. He's playing this beautifully now. He's taking expansions behind this, adding cannons as well. So he's not gonna run out of money. And StRyKeR, the problem is that he lost a lot of his production. You know, a lot of hatcheries died, so it's not like he can make a bunch of drones. He has to catch up in infrastructure now.
True. And again, I think he's pure Hydra man, lurker Hydra for sake. Despite being in high tier 3 now, I mean, he can't really make use of it because he doesn't have Zerg now full way. So, very nice catch. Actually, almost equalizes the supply, but we know for a fact that supply is not showing even half of the true in this game because we have 5 base fully operational Protoss with upgrades, with full infrastructure and defense everywhere, versus a Zerg that is mined out in his main and his natural, is rebuilding his third base and has got, you know, a very fresh fourth base that is completely exposed to harassment. So I believe, well, I'm still surprised. I was saying that the previous attack was the one to conclude the game. Again, supplies are getting suspiciously close, as we've seen in OyA versus the Sziky game. But again, I mean, look at this. StRyKeR is overextending again. Half of his army is in one round. Half of army is on the other one. Well, there's no observer. Okay, but there are so many High Templars. He can storm lines of lurkers even. He doesn't even need to storm the lurkers.
I mean, dude, kogeT. You know, this is why, by the way, I have that bingo card. I don't know if you've seen it, but you know, I tend to say, oh, the game's over. But it's BSL, man. And I feel like in BSL, anything can happen. And it is happening right now because StRyKER's equalized the supply. And GosuDark, yeah, I mean, he has 5 bases, but his main's mined out, his natural's mined out, and the probes that he transferred from both his main and his natural just got picked off. So he is going to have to rebuild them. And rebuilding the probes means Zerg has time to rebuild a couple of his hatcheries. Now, again, looking at this objectively, Protoss should be in a good spot, but you know, the execution is tricky. Sometimes you forget an obs get sniped, lurkers get spines off in defensive positions. I mean, I hope this time around StRyKeR actually builds a Nidus, so that's one thing. You know, you really need a Nidus on this map.
So Gypsy, I see your point. The problem is initiative here. Zerg has got no initiative at all. So his fake contains. I mean, it's like stepping on a minefield. You know, if you contain and actually Protoss army goes there, they're gonna crash. I think the problem here is that StRyKeR has got to both build an economy and keep on making units, while GosuDark has got 5,000 cannons. There's no threat. He can just focus on making units, and I think we already see him again. Also using some harassment. That's also fine. So I agree in theory. I think what StRyKeR should do now is avoid those positions. There's no point for him to be on a map. I mean, you can't be aggressive anymore. So just go home, dodge, you know, just forget about the storms. Get a Nidus, as you said. Get a lot of lurkers and try to, you know, create some kind of very tricky sunken spore lurker positions with Scourge everywhere until the point you can go full, you know, crackling, kind of like crackling defiler swarm, which is basically the obsolete composition, I think.
Yeah.
Absolutely, the best one, right? Oh, you can see this, but will he see it?
Shallow grazing the left side there. Barely in StRyKER's vision, but it was he probably didn't notice that. And
no, he did not. And this freshly made drones.
Is it a storm drop though?
Right.
Oh, there's 4 Templars in it.
4 High Templars. Okay, wow, all right. Well, he's enjoying his time flying with this shuttle, kind of like, I mean,
well,
could have also done it at the other bank.
I actually wonder, does StRyKER even have a Spire? Because he never built a Spire this game. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. Okay, and it's one of those, as soon as Storm lands, this container is gone. And it may feel like you're achieving something as Zerg, you're getting some territory, Thermal Observer, but realistically, even if you trade it, you know, equally with Protoss, this is putting in a back to here.
Yeah, I mean, this Protoss army is huge, and the problem is he lost so many drones there. He's gonna have to, as you mentioned, kogeT, he has to make both units and workers. And losing all those drones, it looked for a second he had good saturation, but now he has to rebuild it. And well, does he have time?
Another time.
Protoss,
I had flashbacks from OyA versus Sziky. That position here, there's no river, but couple High Templars. If they have storm, so actually, oh no, but a lot of Zergians coming. Okay, he will be able to cleanse again. Very nice. But again, it's quite a story. And once again, StRyKER currently at 1 mining base. He's going to transfer the drones. That's great. But yet again, the problem with Zerg is you need some critical mass. It's same with ZVT, same in ZVP. Zerg is very vulnerable when it's small, but when it's getting big, it's getting literally invincible. That's what we see with Zerg, and with this low scale number, 12 links here, a couple drones here, and so on. So you're never picking up an initiative. You're never picking up the momentum. You have to be on the offense with Zerg. You have to be able to generate threats and macro at the same time. And this is not what we're seeing, and we understand why we're not seeing this, but it could be a point of no return, which we've seen a couple of those already in that game. You're right, Gypsy.
No, I mean, I totally agree with you, but I will say this, sometimes, I mean, GosuDark, I feel like, you know, Protosses, sometimes they just need to be a bit more just calm about moving their units together and have a plan. Like, you're not gonna on this map, you're not gonna bust the natural generally, but you are gonna bust those natural third bases, right? Like where there's the big ramp. That's where you should be attacking with all your units. Instead, we've seen Protosses constantly try and force up that small ramp with the double egg there, not be too successful. It looks like this attack though, it is massive. He has 2 observers. They don't have upgrades though. That's one thing. I feel like Protosses need to start getting at least the speed upgrades. But it's more than enough. I feel like his upgrades are 3, 2, 1. Zerg is lagging in upgrades because, you know, Zerg's been lagging in economy for a while, and StRyKER GG, GosuDark takes it.
Very interesting. Really shame I missed the opening part of that game, but another good PVZ. I mean, a very nice harassment, a lot of, you know, drones popping around. I mean, this is always good for, you know, for to see some of that action. when players decide to be a little bit more dimensional than just to build up that death ball and go for the throw. So enjoyable game. And what does this get us? I mean, we're gonna have a PvP gypsy.
Yeah, I feel like, you think anyone would have predicted this if we had like bracket predictions? I feel like no one would have predicted this. I mean, we got the Diablo 2 player versus GosuDark. But first, before we get into that, let's take a quick break because we still have so much action ahead. So don't go anywhere. Welcome back, guys. We just watched GosuDark take it over StRyKeR, and now he is going to face the Diablo 2 player himself, OyA. And honestly, man, I wonder if OyA is gonna watch these casts and get triggered that at least I keep calling him a Diablo 2 player. But that being said, he just looked so strong against Sziky that it's more of a compliment because he's just been playing Diablo 2.
And you know, Gypsy, he was playing a lot of Diablo 2.
Yeah.
He probably did a lot of PvP.
I almost want to walk away. That was a good one. You know who that would have gone? I think Nyokin would be just losing his mind right now.
Well, I don't know about this, but this is Protoss versus Protoss.
Yeah.
Gypsy, remind me what the map is?
Good Night is going to be game 1.
It's gonna be Good Night, so a very nice standard map here. Ramp map, so it could be some shenanigans around build orders, you know, regular ramp here. Could be some different frigates. I mean, again, I feel like GosuDark has been showing himself as a kind of tricky defensive player, right? I'm gonna throw that Dark Templar, I'm gonna, you know, add a third base when you're not looking. OyA with his, you know, extreme kind of like muscle aggression approach here, facing that style.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen?
I don't know. Although I do want to say that I feel like GosuDark, he has this reputation. You know who had a very similar reputation? I feel October Zerg did. You know, where everyone's saying, oh, October Zerg, always ling all ins, always ling all ins. But now, I mean, ever since Remastered, I mean, October Zerg, at least when I play him on ladder, he's always playing standard. He's always trying to play a very standard and like macro game. And sure, these players might have, like GosuDark, you know, he might have his tricks, but when he, you know, at the bottom line is he still plays a solid macro game, and we saw the last game versus StRyKeR, where sure his build was a bit weird, but then he got the bases up, he started making units. I mean, he was on top of everything. And now PvP is a bit different, obviously, because it's not the type of matchup where you can consistently get into the same situation over and over. There's just so much build variance. But yeah, I don't know what to expect here, because I feel like if there's one matchup that OyA has maybe had less success in BSL, it has been PvP, but that is because he generally plays against either Bonnet, DeWalt, or Boa.
Right.
Incredible Protoss players.
True, yeah. So there's some bias in that score there for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if both of them go for some like kind of a DT build here, to be honest. Yeah. I feel like this is best of one, and it's a winner's bracket. It takes. Oh, this is best of 3, of course.
Best of 3.
All right, absolutely. Okay, then even more. I mean, this is best of 3 and winner brackets. I mean, that gives you that confidence boost. You know, at least the first game, I wouldn't be surprised if one of them, or both of them, in fact, goes for some more of a tricky, you know, like frigate build, PP, or something like that. Try to catch your opponent off guard and snap that fast victory.
Yeah, I mean, if there's some time we'll see DTs, it'll definitely be this game, but it looks like the players are ready. So Good Night is going to be game number 1 between OyA and GosuDark. Let's get into it. Spawning in the top left, in the paint, or the yellow, or this is like tan. It is OyA G.
That's red.
It's red now.
And cross position spawning at the bottom right. In blue, we have GosuDark. All right, cross position already.
Yeah. So rush distance is about as long as they get, and it is a 4-player map. It is a ramped map. Generally, you know, the thing with ramps is you can kind of more consistently go for stuff like 1-gate robotics builds into Reavers, whereas, you know, if it's like no ramp, if it's like reverse ramp, the threat of Dragoons is just so heavy that you can't necessarily play that defensive Reaver style. But like you mentioned earlier, kogeT, there's a strong possibility, especially because we're looking at GosuDark here. I mean, he might pull something out of the bag.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. He may also feel that OyA is a little bit favored against him. I think you know, overall maybe, and that's why he would like to cut some corners. Logically, this of course speaks for a build like quick Reaver expand, very quickly and try to get an observer Reaver fast to hold him pretty much anything on cross position. But again, this doesn't mean this is going to happen. What is the cross count from OyA? Am I seeing this right? Sorry, from GosuDark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So already trying to throw some shenanigans. I mean, he's going to find him, but 2-gate from OyA.
I like this because actually OyA is the type of player to center 2-gate, especially in a situation like this. So GosuDark actually playing really well. And not just that, this 2-gate play here sometimes is quite strong, especially if it gets scouted a bit later. But first scout here and cross spawn, so GosuDark has more than enough time to react to this. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him just not do anything special at all because the in-base... Yeah, I mean, the in-base 2-gate is going to take forever to get across the map.
I agree. He needs to be careful, though. He's mining with 3 probes, so he seems to be quite committed to a gas build. I don't think, but I actually believe that when OyA reaches bottom right, well, he's going to send his 3 zealots for sure, but there's no way he's going to commit to anything more. Just recognizing the fact that it's cross position. So GosuDark, without, cutting any economy, not adding any kind of panic, second gate, to match that zealot count. He recognizes cross position. He recognizes he's not really in danger. OyA already adding his gas. So I would say as a nice build order advantage for GosuDark, although he still needs to hold this well. But I think with a goon already in the making, he will be able to meet these zealots far out of his natural to start, sharing the shields already. And when the zealots, if the zealots actually commit into going to the base, maybe 2 zealots will be there to face, another goon and a zealot already. So no damage at all for OyA, I think. The props still in the main, sees nothing. What's the follow-up here? I mean, OyA, he needs to add goons for sure, because if you don't have goons, you're just going to die to goons of your opponent.
He's actually making more zealots.
Yeah, okay, interesting. This is OyA, I mean, that we know, of course. He will test GosuDark's multitasking to his limits. He's probably going to send those across to maybe try some kind of single zealot backstabs. But again, as I said, this dragon meeting the zealots far outside of the natural. Before they walk up the run, there's going to be a second dragon already there. But these are just 3 zealots. I mean, I don't believe he's going to lose any probes, maybe 1 probe. I don't know if 2 probe is even realistic here. GosuDark countering this correctly, he will not lose anything.
Yeah, it's all about the micro. Can he pull the probe that's getting focused? The 1 probe goes down. Well,
he has to be careful. 3 zealots is a force. The zealot is very damaged.
I think,
2 probes.
2 probes.
And a zealot? No, he's not targeting a zealot. He could have got a zealot too. That would be huge. That would actually be not so bad. Now hiding the zealots, of course, 1 behind the mineral, 1 to the natural, making sure that if GosuDark ever moves out, there's gonna be a backstop, and it will already happen now. Yeah, GosuDark not expecting this. I think the zealot is going into the main, right? Yeah, the zealot is in the main.
Yeah, but GosuDark's expanding, so he's actually keeping his dragoons at... Yeah, I mean, I really like this from GosuDark, and he gets the rescout off. Oh my god, that's huge. So now he knows everything. He sees there's no citadel. GosuDark is in such a good spot here, kogeT. I don't know. I mean, he knows there's no DTs, doesn't have to put down a forge. He can match this dragoon count because, although OyA is on 2-gate, I mean, OyA is on 2-gate, but his range not quite done yet. And GosuDark has been pumping dragoons nonstop off this 1-gate. So right now, I think it's 2 goons to 3. And by the time there's a 4th goon for OyA, I mean, there's going to be a 4th goon and a 2nd gate here for GosuDark and this Nexus. So I like that OyA, though, he did see... So scouting information is everything in this matchup, right? OyA did see that there was an expansion, so he can safely take his and not be too far behind. But I think...
it is too far behind. Yeah. Although supplies, I mean, say something else, right? OyA has been consistently making probes. I mean, his Nexus has been blinking for all the time. I actually, visually, it seems like he has got like 4 or 5 probes more than GosuDark. GosuDark also, he's been floating 500 gas for a while before he added Robo. So, his economy has not been fully optimized for the build order that he's going for. Therefore, OyA with maybe, a little bit of a disadvantage from the beginning. He got 2 probes there with zealots. His Nexus is later, but his supply is different. Of course, his tech is also a little bit behind. But again, as long as he stays on that ramp, he doesn't allow any aggression, he will, catch up in economy, because I do believe he's been just cutting less probes. And when this Nexus becomes operational, he will slowly but surely equalize the position.
Yeah, you make a good point, man, because I do think he hasn't, like you said, he hasn't been cutting probes because he's just been on 2-gate. Sometimes you see Protossers, especially when they're on 2-gate, they have to start cutting probes at some point to get the robotics up. This game, though, because he was up in GosuDark's face and then confirmed the Nexus, he knows that GosuDark doesn't have a DT follow-up either. He doesn't need to get that robotics. So overall, despite the fact that that was a really good opening overall, like conceptually, or at least theoretically for GosuDark, it seems like OyA has piloted it better regardless. I mean, he has a small supply lead. I mean, this game's pretty much even, but it should definitely have been much better for GosuDark. Oh, GosuDark does have Reaver tech, though. That is the X factor here.
For sure, yeah. His Observer and Reaver will be faster. Maybe even up to one Reaver. I mean, one production cycle of a Shuttle or Reaver.
Yeah.
So for defense, absolutely crushing advantage. For attack, though, again, this is cross position, so I don't think he can use for it. So the battle of minds, in my view now, is what is the next move? I don't think it's attacking. I don't think any of the players has had any advantage to actually initiate an attack. You have that high ground yet again, right? If you want to actually engage, there is that high ground that can probably be maybe, if you have like 2 Reavers and a Shuttle, you can micro yourself into that position. But it's not something that you can do, over next minute or 2.
Yeah.
You need a lot of units, maybe some zealots and so to be able to attack high ground. And none of the players is interested in doing this. I mean, I don't feel like OyA is interested in doing this. He knows he's been behind and he's catching up. GosuDark, despite being confident, he also didn't really do any damage. He will now spot the same buildings from OyA, which kind of like discourages you from being an aggressor, because you kind of feel, okay, he did the same stuff as I did, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that GosuDark knew exactly the timing of the Nexus 2. He will click on the minerals to see how far behind he is, but again, with the saturation of probes, it may actually be not that far.
Yeah.
Supply also.
That's a good point. I mean, especially you can always check that mineral count, though. That is sometimes hard to have the presence of mind, but I am surprised that GosuDark is... I mean, I totally agree with you, kogeT, and looking at the game here, they're basically even. But psychologically, if you're GosuDark, you're thinking, okay, I stopped the 2-gate and took my Nexus right away, so I should have an advantage, right? But it looks like he's actually just recognizing that no, it's pretty much even, and it picks off the Observer, which is huge because in this matchup, obviously, you only have one robotics and it's always being used for Shuttle, Reaver, so that's a good pick off. But looks like OyA is already transitioning into Citadel.
For sure, you need to do it. I mean, as we talked, you can't really use your Goon Reaver army to attack. I mean, you can in theory, but it's just gonna be super risky. You're gonna base this on your micro. So I think it's the third base and additional tech that matters. And Forge for OyA already been spinning for a while. He got a faster second gas also, so he will get the Psystorm, Archons, access to this kind of tech also earlier. And I think GosuDark actually may have 2 probes in his natural gas again, which will super limit his composition going onwards. Yeah, it is okay. Now he added a 3rd probe as we looked at it, so well spotted there by him. But again, his upgrades are late. I think his gateways are late. Look at the supply, 12 difference, so it's like 6 zealots maybe, round of zealots of production head for OyA. He's slowly looking to take 3rd base.
This is a good timing though for GosuDark because he has a Shuttle and it's catching OyA in the transitional phase. Oh, the Reaver! Oh, that was a sick pickup actually from GosuDark, and it's catching OyA in the transition phase into the Zealots. He doesn't have Zealot speed just yet, so this composition for GosuDark is so much stronger, but he has to keep these Reavers alive. He is attacking against the high ground. It's all about how much damage these Reavers can do. The Shuttle and 1 Reaver goes down, but as the dust settles, actually, they're very even in supply, and without the Shuttle, man, I feel like GosuDark barely missed there because now Zealot speed is probably almost done. He has 5-6 gates there, OyA does. He can probably reinforce this. Catches the Reaver as well.
And it's high ground versus low ground now. He's walking up his Dragoons to catch this additional unit, but the reinforcements, I mean, again, we knew that they are very close to each other. Great pickup on Reavers. They're lifting his own Reavers to create that advantage. But ultimately, additional Zealots, the high ground advantage for OyA that he had when the Goons pushed back a little bit. Now, look at this. Is it 20 supplies difference? Am I seeing this correctly?
Yeah. There, you are.
Now
totally
he caught up a little bit.
correctly.
Wow, okay, now it has equalized because he started to build some units. But again, OyA again, recognizes, no problem. I'm gonna land my third Nexus. Why should I push for this? This is cross position. His reinforcements will be there in place before I arrive. I lost my Reavers. I don't have any potential attack. I'm gonna back off, and he's gonna win on this. I mean, the Dark Templar here, his Temporal Archives are ready, so we're gonna see Archons and maybe Storm Drops coming into play very, very soon. And of course, that third base, I think that's most important. GosuDark, I think he believes that OyA is maybe not all in, but you know, he wants to be aggressive again. He lost that Observer, anticipating a move out from units. He's not even thinking about taking a third base. Look at this. He's sitting at his base and trying to rebuild his army.
GosuDark's in a really tough spot because he basically, you know, Dragoon Reaver is the ultimate composition until a fight like that where you lose a lot of your supply, and then Zealots get started mixing in, as well as Archons, Templars. And so GosuDark, unfortunately, infrastructure-wise, he's massively behind. I mean, OyA already has his Templar Archives out. He's going for Storm Drops, which are king in this matchup. And, you know, GosuDark instead, he's only building his Templar Archives now. And like you mentioned, I mean, the third base is done for OyA. So despite the fact that the supplies are relatively even...
Start a shuttle.
Yeah, with Templar
GosuDark, he doesn't have a third base yet, meaning all of his economy is in these two bases.
Yeah.
It's actually not that extremely saturated, but a Storm Drop like this in PvP, it can just end the game. I mean, losing 20 probes like this, there is no way to recover. You have to take what you have and attack, because otherwise you're going to be ungrown at such a pace that you're never going to catch up. So that Storm Drop slowly approaching the natural base. There is no vision from GosuDark, no pylons. So this, he will have maybe a second to react before the Storms lands. I mean, this is going to be crucial for the game. This may be a first win for OyA. He's adding a cannon now, anticipating something, but look at this. Oh, it lands.
Unfortunately, those are Templar, not Vultures. Storm,
Oh
super massive, just kills everything. And with only 2 Nexuses, it's going to be really long until he can replace those probes. And OyA behind this is mining off an extra base. So, yeah, I think that might signal GosuDark that, you know, you have to just go and attack and try and make something happen. Because if this status quo is maintained here, GosuDark is going to just be at a severe economic disadvantage.
Okay, Archons are joining the army. Had some gas saved for those. The shuttle is there. He will pick up the Reavers. I mean, he needs to go now for sure. The question is, I mean, how well positions OyA will be. Right now, his army is split into 2. But again, that could be a pretty reasonable flank also if GosuDark decides to approach from the ramp to the natural base. So it could actually be a very good defensive position. But maybe if GosuDark... Oh, there's another shuttle. If GosuDark engages at the third base and clears the goons, while having some juicy Reaver shots, could still come back into this game. I mean, this is PvP. We know that the fight, how you take the fight is most important here. As you know, you build up this army so long, so that fight is really crucial. There is, you know, rarely a second chance. And look at this, the guns unrevealed themselves, sorry. And now the Zealots connect. The Archons are in a good position, taking a lot of damage from the Zealots. The Storms are great though, the Reavers are shooting.
Oh my god. GosuDark's composition though is crazy. I mean, he has the Archons, they're so powerful in this situation. It's all about
the Reavers.
Reavers equalize it for OyA so far. I mean, a lot of the Zealots died. This is really close, kogeT. Look at the supplies.
This is exactly what I was talking about. The goons from behind, rather than being a flank, they become a liability because the Zealots went on them. The Storms were not strong enough, and actually now he's pushing the issue into natural. If he can reinforce this, another Storm Drop clearing all of the GosuDark. So this is great for him. This is the last attack for GosuDark for sure. But the question is if this is also going to be the last attack for OyA. If he cannot hold it, Storm lands on the Reaver, doesn't kill it. I mean, this looks rough.
OyA's dead, man. That was... You saw how many probes died?
Oh, this is GG!
Oh my god, that was so close, dude. Did you see how many probes died there? But like, GosuDark still had a supply advantage, so you know he's got like insane unit advantage.
Right.
Oh my god, dude. OyA is going to be really sad about that game though, because I feel like he had all the tools he needed to just convert that into a win, but GosuDark taking his chance, man, and just like driving it through.
Exactly, the Archons really showed their power there. I mean, Archons are really important in the late game PvP fights. I mean, they are so tanky. They clear the Zealots. So, you know, OyA Zealots died very fast because there were Reavers with shuttle. He had some good storms, but ultimately when Zealots are down, GosuDark still had his Zealots and Archons and Reavers. These goons just melted. I mean, goons are horrible versus Archon, Zealot, Reaver. I mean, this is the worst way you can get, right? And the Reavers from OyA, he missed shuttle there. That fight went exactly how GosuDark wanted it to happen. And a very, somewhat surprising win for GosuDark. I mean, but great job on this one.
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely behind, you know, and throughout the game. And despite the fact that he had a good opening, somehow OyA just had more probes, had more supply. I don't know what was going on, but...
And more upgrades, everything.
Yeah, but GosuDark found that one timing, and he nailed it. And the fight, I mean, went as perfectly as it could have. Like you mentioned, kogeT, that those goons being out of position was a huge liability. Maybe had OyA taken a fight that was more front to back, or like, you know, just a straight up face-to-face kind of fight, maybe he could have won there. But also that, again, Archons are so insane in this matchup. You might think, well, Storm in PvT, pretty good. Storm in PvZ, pretty good. It's pretty good in PvP, but when you have this like Zealot Archon ball that's like uncontested in the front line and they just dive into goons like that, it just turns the fight so rapidly.
Yeah. Seems like, I mean, last word about that game, seems like OyA was a little bit surprised by that attack too. I mean, he should have anticipated it after the storm drop. I would do nothing else but anticipate an attack. Yeah. And you know, if he knew it was coming and if he used some of the goons maybe to trade, right, and, you know, just hit and run, and then ultimately engage into, you know, the Reaver shuttle, try to snipe it as a priority, maybe it would have done differently. But
dude, actually, speaking of that, it's funny because he had that storm drop and it's like that was clearly game-ending damage. And I'm guilty of doing this too, you know, in like TVP where you harass a Protoss down, kill a bunch of probes, and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna take even more vultures and do some more harass, because OyA had that second shuttle drop come in at the same time. But it's like, dude, you already have a huge economic advantage. You just have to defend. And like in TVP, you get this extra group of like vultures out on the map to try and kill even more probes, even though you just killed probes, and the Protoss comes in and just slams into you. It's like the same situation, and it's so unfortunate because, you know, OyA clearly knew he was like ahead, but he was trying to do too much. Just too much. He could have just sat there.
Yeah, that's one of the main, both strategical and tactical mindsets you need to be able to change in StarCraft. When to be an aggressor and when to really relax, you know, lay down, not try to push for some actions here for harassment. Recognize your advantage, prepare a good position, and, you know, and drive the game to conclusion. It's in any matchup, obviously, right? Definitely here. I mean, it was OyA game to lose, and he lost it. So big shame. But let's see. What is the map 2? I'm curious because that has been OyA's pick, right?
Yeah. So now it's OyA's pick, and of course GosuDark. Oh, it's okay. Well,
Wavelet.
Yeah, that's an interesting pick, man.
Yeah.
He's playing Diablo 2, and now you're telling me that when he's not playing Diablo 2, he's practicing the new BSL
foreign maps. Yeah, exactly. Well, for the defense, it is PvP, of course, right? It's a standard PvP map. Sorry, standard map overall, in the sense that it doesn't have any crazy features. I think it, in some places, resembles the design of expansion is maybe somewhat Circuit Breaker. Yeah. Relatable. Ish.
It's a weird map. It's a weird map. It's like, it looks like a standard map, but it's weird because it's kind of like Revolver in a sense, where there's like a clear difference between like the verticality and the horizontal aspects of it. But you know, I keep thinking OyA, actually that's one of his strengths, right? Like I feel like he's one of the few players, you know, most players that are really strong, right? I'm thinking about like a Sziky, right? They're just like, you know, in their mental approach, they're like, I'm just better than who I'm playing. I just want to play safe. OyA is the type of player that is like, I'm gonna put you outside of your comfort zone. Whether it's like, I'm gonna proxy 2-gate, whether it's like you've been mentioning, I'm just running zealots around the map, or whether it's like, I'm gonna pick this map that I haven't practiced, but I know you haven't practiced, so let's do it.
Yeah. No, for sure, you're absolutely correct about it. He's making your life difficult and miserable, and then if you're able to fend it all off, then you realize he actually a triple X finally behind. Kind of like, you know, really trying to create those mind games on a fly there, and if you're not catching up, man, you're falling behind very quickly. And yes, he's always a real face.
Well, the game is ready, so let's get into it. Game number 2 here. OyA must win to stay in the series. And we're in top left. GosuDark in the red Protoss.
Right, and bottom left, we have blue Protoss from Sweden, OyA.
Yeah, pylon in main, so I actually don't know.
That's good already.
Yeah, dude. I actually don't know if you can proxy in the middle. That's the thing, though. But so OyA went for that 2-gate last game. Do you think we're gonna see something similar? I mean, what are the chances? Okay, what are GosuDark's up 1 game, right? What are the chances he's gonna do something insane?
Well, I actually think his build from last game was rather reactive.
Yeah,
what he's seen from OyA, which made me happy. So maybe unless he, denies scouting from OyA, he's also going for standard. And I feel like after winning game 1,
yeah,
the mindset usually is, okay, if I won game 1, I can also win. Oh, game 2, and look at this.
Oh my god, man!
And this time we have vertical positions here, meaning that rush distance is as short as it can be.
I think
on
so.
this
Yeah.
map.
Yeah. It's man. Yeah. See, this is why OyA is hard to play again. I was so sure in my mind. I'm like, there's no way he's doing the same build again.
Yeah.
But he is.
Yes, and the cross scout from GosuDark again this time is gonna burn his fingers on it, because not only he didn't find OyA there, he's now going top right. So
Yeah.
before he reaches OyA's base, and OyA's pro, by the way, is already there and harassing, but these 3 zealots will be out from the gateways before the pro even notices. Now, previous game, GosuDark didn't have to make any particular adjustments to his build order because of the cross position. This game, these 3 zealots will arrive before the second gun is out.
Yeah.
And if you miss micro your zealot, you lose your zealot quickly, then you as well might lose 3-4 probes. And if you lose 3-4 probes versus this and a zealot, you're just significantly behind.
Yeah, the window is really tight on the probe count. You cannot lose too many probes there.
No.
GosuDark is gonna need for sure to put down a shield battery as soon as he sees this.
Look at that scout. Is he actually going? No. Okay, I thought that he's going back to the path of where units are going to check the zealots, and I think he did.
Oh,
he sees the 3 zealots. So very interesting. Yeah, I think he did it right. I think.
You
he
think
didn't
that was
go
on
like...
purpose, or that's just the normal? No, I think that was on purpose, right?
Yeah, it looked like he
That was
made
really
a bit
good.
of Yeah, it looked like, exactly. He would have gone to the bottom route. But now the gun is out. Again, taking some of the shields. But again, 2 zealots already in there. GosuDark Zealot is back at the gateways, waiting for those to defend the probe. The sweet zealot drop, block here to stop the Dragoon. And let's see, first probe already goes down. Second probe goes down.
This shield battery is too
He made a
late,
second
actually.
zealot. Okay, interesting, because GosuDark didn't know that this is coming. He's making a shield battery, and he made a second zealot also. So he actually deviated his play out of the pylon block. Wow, this is actually a lot of economy. Another problem down. Wow.
GosuDark actually canceled the shield battery as well, but behind this, is it though? Because OyA, just like last game, he made 5. Yeah, but he made 5 zealots. It wasn't like 3 zealots, and now these zealots are gonna come in here. They're gonna kill even more probes. 1 more probe goes down with the matter pylon as well, causing so much economic damage. Okay, apparently only 1 more probe for those 2 zealots. I mean,
OyA needs to relax now for sure. I mean, he made 3 zealots. If he adds, well, okay, he's 1 gateway still, but I wouldn't be surprised if GosuDark just throws in Citadel, but didn't know. I mean, after so much damage, you may feel like you're pushed into all in here.
yeah.
I think he's building something. What is he building next to his gas? That is Citadel of Barun. Okay. Yeah, I think he recognized he lost a couple probes too many there. And if he doesn't get some kind of a more risky build here in play, where he wins in spot, or maybe counters OyA's free gate gun or something like that, because again OyA could think about going for a small all-in now or semi all-in. When you kill so many probes, going free gate or something like that, or just keep on making guns, is great, because you put you keep your opponent honest. They can't just cut an economy. to put a nexus or so. But at the same time, because your economy is bigger, you don't really fall behind. All right, we can see this Dark Templars, but OyA, he's making a robber, right?
Yeah, he is making a robotics, and I'm assuming he's going to make observers off of this. Now, unfortunately for GosuDark, he definitely had enough units to push out and pressure.
Right.
But I don't know. It's hard, right? Because obviously we see it. He should recognize that, okay, I killed 5 zealots, but at the same time, he can't know, are there like 7 zealots and like OyA's hiding 2 zealots in the corner waiting for me to push out to counterattack, and then suddenly I'm dead?
And so there's a battery and a ramp or something like that, right?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. But it's unfortunate because in PvP, that's really important to get good at, right? Like, you need to be able to kind of pressure with your small units to gain information.
Oh my god. 2 cannons and Dark Templar before Nexus and cutting probes, so this is a set game for GosuDark. I mean, I know we shouldn't do it, Gypsy. I struggle seeing how GosuDark can come back from this, because OyA actually cut a lot of corners here. Yeah. He cut a lot of units. He didn't make goons in order to make the super fast robotics.
Yeah.
Now he's been adding goons later. I mean, he was not cutting probes, so his economy is good. His Nexus timing is great, and he has got an observer. Most importantly,
GosuDark's got a timing here, though. Oh, PurePad! What the? $1,000 donation, dude. Okay, hold that thought for a second, man. You're an absolute maniac. But this is the one timing that GosuDark might have. These DTs, they're decent fighting units, but it looks like he just doesn't have quite enough. I feel like maybe if he went just a tad bit earlier, but didn't quite find that timing. But holy guacamole, PurePat, man. You're an absolute legend, dude. Thanks so much for your support, man. Just every single season, this guy is just slamming money into the BSL, just one of our biggest supporters. I think without him, we definitely wouldn't have had so many seasons. So thanks so much, PurePat. You're a freaking legend, man.
Absolutely massive donation. Thank you very much. Also to a Polish fellow. I believe he's a Polish donator there. So yeah, $1,000. I mean, you could make 2.5 Nexus for this. These guys appreciate it too. Zero for sure appreciates it a lot too. And we all as players and casters, we appreciate it a lot. So thank you very much. And back to this game, I mean, GosuDark just transferred all by 8 probes with minerals. Seems like even without that devastating storm drop, OyA's economy is, well, not doubling, but seems like almost doubling. GosuDark economy. He's got like 8 probes mining in main and like 8-9 probes mining in his nutshell for minerals. So he's gonna have a lot of gas for his storms, and as he went for the Templar Kai tech. But now again, OyA, he's not giving his opponent any space to maneuver. Okay, there is a river drop, but GosuDark this time very active on defense. No sloppiness, no not taking chances. And
that was sick anticipation, though, because he had no vision of that. Like, he just knows, okay, this is around the timing. So, well played there. But I mean, he's so far behind because of how the opening build orders played out. He is gonna. No, the one thing though that I believe GosuDark might have going for him, obviously, if we were to cover up the supplies, is that when you go into this early DT tech, you have access to Templars much earlier. So maybe, just maybe, if he gets Storm fast enough behind the cannons as well, he might be able to defend.
He must have it. He has got 3 high Templars, so it will be crucial how he storms these rivers, because again, these rivers will be sieging that cannon line in a second, and he cannot avoid to lose these cannons because his army is nowhere as big. Templar is there already. First storm on a river. Good dodge by OyA, lost only 40 shield of that. Also took some damage on the shuttle. I mean, he needs to be careful. Maybe he could use some Dragoons also to threaten the shuttle. But now OyA is moving in. All the units is in narrow choke though.
Shuttle goes down and it had 2 Reavers in it. I was gonna say, OyA is putting on a masterclass on how to siege. He was doing it perfectly.
How did it happen?
But because I think OyA just assumed, okay, there's no way this guy has more than 2 storms, and he baited the 2 storms, right? Like 1 from each Templar, but he didn't realize that the Templar have been building up. Like, look, he's going again, eating another storm. That was pretty good overall, but that definitely evened it up a bit. I mean, the supplies are still not good for GosuDark, but he is getting into the superior unit composition over time. So
he really needs shuttle
yeah.
drop.
Yeah.
He needs to catch up with economy. The problem is OyA has got way more probes. He was not cutting any aircraft through the game. If he can land a big storm like OyA did in the last game, and look at this mineral is pretty exposed. I mean, OyA is not yet anticipating a storm drop, and we know that GosuDark is gonna go for this, knowing his appetite for shuttle play from the previous games.
Yeah.
So if he lands a big storm drop where he kills, I don't know, 10-15 probes, he's back in it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I mean, OyA is kind of wide open to that because he's basically just sitting his entire arm. I mean, now he has a lot of units at his natural, but it looks like OyA, it's both the storm drop is for sure a way to come back, but also you're feeling a bit uncomfortable being OyA because your shuttle tech is suddenly irrelevant, right? Because or it's just not good anymore because storm is so strong against the shuttle reaver. And you don't have, your opponent might be building into Archon, Zealot, Templar.
Is he trying to contain him? Or I hope he's not trying to attack. No, he must be trying to contain him. But again, if GosuDark grabs shuttle and bombs the economy of OyA, this kind of contain is not so great when another opponent has got so many storms. I mean, of course it's good.
Yeah.
But if GosuDark will have, a couple of 6-7 storms, he will be able to break down. Another $5 donation, by the way. Thank you very much.
I'm not pure fan, but something is something. Erob, you're a legend as well. I mean, without a doubt, all the donations are insanely appreciated. Obviously, the reason we lose our marbles over big donations is because if we would lose our marbles over every single donation, which we kind of do, honestly, then we wouldn't be casting the games because everyone's always donating. Just amazing the support. Here comes a shuttle, though.
That's a river drop, right? Yes, so it's a bit slower than Storm, but this cannon is down. What is the reaction? He needs to... Oh no, these probes are not pulling back. OyA is actually going for the probes, but the Weaver's back. He needed to pick them up before losing them, but the RB is gonna... Okay. Whew. That was actually quite close. Lucky for GosuDark. I feel like he could have got a huge scar up there, and he cannot afford to lose any more economy.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because it's quite obvious that a shuttle play wouldn't be bad at all. But I kind of understand OyA's contain here because this is such a nice position to just fight against. Double Reaver, just so much damage. Kills one Templar. That's actually going to trigger GosuDark to push out. But, I mean, this is such a good position for OyA to be in. He can kite his Reavers behind layers upon layers of Dragoons. The Dragoons just standing firm, delivering so much damage. And despite the fact that GosuDark was slowly building into like a better overall composition, his supply wasn't there, and that was just the perfect positioning from OyA. And unfortunately, as we keep saying, kogeT, just such a missed opportunity not going for that storm drop.
Yeah, I think that was the only thing that. Oh, and another $20. Oh, sorry, is $20 to tip? 520. My quality on the screen is. I actually couldn't read it, but another river drop, but it dies without.
Wait, was that actually 520 or was that $20?
Yeah, I think it was 520.
Oh my god, dude, insane.
Or I'm not sure actually. No, I think it was bits. I think it was. I'm not sure actually.
Yeah,
Zero will have to help us on that one.
Yeah, Zero's busy observing like a god, and also just doing everything else, lifting BSL on his shoulders as always. Man, I can't believe Zero is just sitting there today. He watched. Can you believe this, kogeT? He watched ASL, then he casted that 3 best of 5s between the Chinese and the Europeans. Now he's obsing this group. Just
I don't know, Gypsy. I understand what you're trying to say, but for me, it sounds like a dream day.
All right, fair enough. Well, here comes the storm drop.
Yeah,
totally
finally.
Whiffs,
Wow, this is pretty good. Although I think, did he already transfer to his third base? Or is that still being built? Because there were not so many probes in that base anymore, right? So he
can transfer now, so that's definitely where those probes are going.
Right. No, actually, they were only transferred now, so that was pretty good. But still 40 supply deficit, and then we have a big fight in the choke. I mean, GosuDark is trying to break out, but again, good dodge on the storm. Ooh, juicy storm, but there's 4 Dragoons, 5 Dragoons and an Arc, and I mean, there's not enough to fight here. I believe this could be end of GosuDark. Yes, that is GG. Thank you very much for that game. I mean, pretty exciting game again, right? With back and forth 2-gate action, rushing, different things happening, harassment. Very interesting PvP.
Yeah, and it could have gone either way. I mean, again, if GosuDark had recognized the situation, maybe gone for again storm drop. It's so obvious now that we looked at the game, but unfortunately, I think I totally understand where he was at mentally. He was probably just thinking, if I just sit here and build up to Zealot, Archon, Templar, I don't think he recognized just how far ahead OyA was economically, because otherwise he definitely would have won for those drops. But it was a closer game than it looked, because, you know, if somehow GosuDark breaks that contain, his composition advantage would have like taken over, I feel like, and he would have been in a decent spot later on in the game. But OyA just played beautifully throughout there.
I fully agree. Also, economy was a little bit lacking, but again, this opening from OyA, and the fact that he was consistently at his face again.
Yeah,
you know, it is always easy to say, yeah, just take a storm drop, but when you know that your opponent is at your natural, you don't know when he's gonna attack. You know, taking out 2 High Templars or 3 High Templars, it may feel difficult to do. So, you know, for us it was simple to understand.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Well, now it's gonna be GosuDark's choice for map pick, and there's a lot of interesting maps. So I don't know if you know the map pool.
I would go for Aztec.
There we go.
I would go for Aztec. If I were GosuDark.
Yeah, I kind of agree, man. There's Aztec. I mean, even Ascension. I mean, there's no ramp on Ascension, and if you really, I mean, even the so Heartbreak Ridge, both the 2-player maps, Heartbreak Ridge and the Vertebrae map, they're rampless. Vertebrae actually has like a really weird choke at the base.
Gypsy. But why? You don't want to have rampless. You want to have a reversed ramp.
You want to have a you know,
that's even more nasty in PvP.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, man. I mean, we'll have to see. You think? I mean, what do you think OyA would ban in this situation? Aztec, I guess.
Well, I think OyA. I mean, he took Wavelet because I believe it's a standard map, right?
Yeah.
I think he just didn't want. He wanted a map where he can.
Apparently, he played a show match, like a test series on the map, so maybe he was more familiar with the map than we thought.
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, then for sure he was again, but it's still a standard map, right? So when you want to brawl with someone, and OyA, you know, he's very good at making props. You can see his mechanics or making props are really good, and I also remember that in my PvP. Yeah. So he doesn't want to go into those very shaky games like Aztec, Heartbreak Ridge, where there's just much more volatility, right? Some kind of.
That being said, he's been opening 2 gate every single game.
True.
So OyA's like he's just this. There's something about him, man. Like you just.
But again, when you play 2 gate, right? You don't want to play on a flat map, because then the counterattack from goons is going to be much stronger, right?
True.
So yeah. Anyhow, I'm really curious what GosuDark is gonna say. I would go for Aztec, and again, he may even play standard Aztec, but I'd already sent a message that I may be thinking about something, right? I may be thinking about it too. I may be thinking about 2-3 gating you, because if I get that high guard position, you're never gonna get out of your base. There is that threat always. If you know, you can't just defend down the ramp, because if you defend down the ramp, you're never going to walk out that ramp. that's the problem of reverse ramp in PvP. Of course, you can have shallow reverse harassment, but ultimately you're kind of getting locked out.
No, I totally agree. But it is the only map that has a reverse ramp, so I feel like it's an easy ban if you're OyA. You know, so.
Okay, I don't know if I don't know what the bans were.
So actually, I guess we should explain that to the viewers, but that's the one thing I keep forgetting every cast. You know, you never know when there's new viewers in, but the format is, in these best of 3 situations, the winner gets to ban a map and the loser picks a map from the remaining 6 maps, or 5 maps, I guess, because you play 1 map and there's 7 maps in the pool. So if you're OyA, for sure, you're thinking, if you're... and Zero confirms it for us. OyA banned Aztec. Right. So
we were right, Gypsy. We were right.
Yeah. I mean,
this would have
players. All Brood War players think alike, man. It doesn't matter if you're a Protoss, Terran, or Zerg. Let's be real, dude.
Yeah. But if no Aztec, then.
Ooh, there you go. Is this the map actually, Zero? So Revolver.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
Wait, GosuDark picked this. Surprise, surprise. Well, I think the game's ready, so let's get into it. It is going to be Revolver for the rubber match between these two players to see who makes it out first in Group D.
So again, I mean, Revolver.
Yeah, how about you introduce them, kogeT?
Absolutely, happy to do so. So in the top left corner of Revolver, we have the red Protoss representing Peru, GosuDark. And on the other side of the map, in the top right corner, as blue Protoss representing Team Sweden, the best hammered in Paladin on Diablo 2 servers, remastered, or whatever they're called, OyA.
Is that what he's playing? I saw some people in the chat asking what's OyA playing, and then do you know?
Probably a sorceress, right?
Yeah,
you need to play.
He's sorceress. A Protoss player, man. What's the Protoss in?
Yeah, he needs to be able to wiggle around the map quickly, right?
Pretty much, dude. Absolute face roll class. Wouldn't be surprised. I'm sure he has like all the characters at this point, man. Every time I look at my BNet, I see OyA Act 5 Hell. I'm like, all right.
Yeah. Making sure those ball rounds, they don't make themselves. So, yeah. No. Okay. Anyhow, so we have Revolver, and interesting one because now this is horizontal.
Yeah.
So you could say because of that, there are more attacking paths, right?
Yeah.
Because the players can travel at the top line and immediately enter, without a high ground. It's much easier to do than if he, let's say they were particularly like
there we
another
go,
2 gates.
I knew it. I was gonna say, man, there's no way he's not 2 gating again, but
yeah.
Then I feel like he if I said that, he would have done something else for sure.
Yeah. But I mean, he had good success both games,
yes.
I would say.
Yes.
Ultimately, he came out of an advantage.
Well, it's weird though, because I feel like the first game, like objectively, he got stuffed, but somehow he still. I mean, I don't know if it's because he didn't miss any probes or what, but he still ended up ahead against GosuDark. But I feel like after that first game, if I'm OyA, I'm like, okay, that didn't really work too well. But it did, and like you said, and in the second game, it definitely worked really well. So hopefully, maybe OyA here is hoping for not cross spawns, and he got his wish, but horizontal spawns. I mean, there's 2 chokes here that because the natural path for units to walk from top right to top left.
That is a late cybernetic core, by the way. He's making 2 zealots before. He's anticipating 2 gate already.
Well,
you did it twice. You're gonna do it 3 times, and that's great for GosuDark because he will have. Will he have 3 zealots? He will have 2 zealots for sure. Almost 3 zealots, I think.
Yeah, I think he will have 3 zealots. Yeah. And I'm interested to see, okay, he's only going to hold his top ramp here. He could have elected to hold the bottom ramp as well at the natural, but obviously that's a bit riskier. It's further away from your gateway, so you can totally understand GosuDark's positioning here. And 3 zealots like this with the probe, perfect. My god, GosuDark, I love seeing this from players when they adapt to their opponent mid-series. He knew it was a possibility, delayed the core, and now he's going to be in a really good spot. Ooh, is that probe going to die? Nice micro there from GosuDark.
GosuDark, he's got a lot of gas. He just spent 150, I think he's making Citadel again. Or was it Ranch? Okay. So this is going to be, again, rather standard. Not adding a second gateway, so a bunch of guns. He's got a lot of gas, so probably also robotics. Maybe going for a big one-base gun reaver timing before Nexus. Right now, I think this is actually something that works very well against 2gate, because what 2gate doesn't have is it doesn't have tech. That's basically where it bleeds mostly. You can catch up with Dragon Count, you can catch up with economy, making a quicker or slower Nexus, but you will never have a fast robotic facility with a lot of reavers. So if GosuDark goes for this, if he actually makes some kind of a shallow reaver timing with a bunch of guns, this could be a big opening, big timing window. Oh, but don't lose the Dragoon. Whew, it almost died there.
I think strategically here, GosuDark has a huge advantage. One thing is
the probe is still in the main.
The probe is still in the main. He confirms Dragoon range, and OyA only saw he saw that 3 zealot. Okay, he's gonna go for a 3 gate. I was gonna say GosuDark. If he just expanded here, it would be the best possible choice because he knows OyA first of all spent money on the range, but also OyA saw 3 zealots into 1 dragoon and can just assume it was like 1 gate, right? So it could have easily been Citadel, like you mentioned, Citadel before range or something like that. So I feel like OyA is 100% gonna go for detection here. It's just too likely that Protoss or that GosuDark could have went for something like DTs, and if he goes for robotics, I mean, GosuDark could have just gotten an easy expansion. Yeah, but he has 3 gates instead.
But you know, I think this is good for OyA, of course. The thing that I don't like about GosuDark build, he keeps on making props. He's got almost 500 gas, so he didn't plan to go 3 gates, because if he was planning to go 3 gates, he shouldn't have that much gas. He's also kind of pretending to make this base. It's just a fake, I believe. But now OyA is overextending for sure. I mean, why is he making this 3? Okay, actually, he's got way more goods, because this is 4 goods and there's no, this is actually sorry, this GosuDark good. Okay, so it was an overextension. Now these goods are on wrap.
Here's the thing, like OyA should know what's up, because he's been on 2 gate this whole time, and suddenly GosuDark has more units than him.
GosuDark needs to go. He needs to attack now. Is he expanding behind this? No.
No. He's just gonna attack. But I mean, OyA's not committed to this low ground. He can just go back up on. That's why this 3 gate just makes no sense.
But this is exactly what we talked about. In these positions, you don't have your high grounds.
Yeah.
You're just gonna have to fight on equal terms. No,
yeah, but OyA can just. Does OyA really need to commit to this natural though? Because he's getting a robotics behind this. He could just wait for a Reaver to come out and he's gonna be safe. But it looks like instead OyA is gonna take this expansion anyway. I mean, GosuDark has 3 gate behind this. It should have worked, but he's taking such a bad fight against these 2 zealots.
It was a terrible fight, and again, inconsistency in his build order, because getting so much gas, not being able maybe to even produce from all the 3 gateways. Adding a Nexus now means basically I have failed to outproduce you, and now I will try to catch up in economy. But we know how good OyA is in making probes. I mean, he's definitely in a higher probes numbers now than GosuDark, just because of the build order he took. Now the Robo is being added. I don't know, this is, Observer is already out when he's gonna see it. Again, the big timing is gonna be 2 Reaver shuttle.
Yeah.
That's gonna be when OyA will have this power spike. 2 Reaver with shuttle, and now 4 gateways behind this.
Well, GosuDark's GosuDark's strategy is just falling apart. I mean, if there's one thing he should have instantly won against, it's what OyA is doing. Like, he should have 100% been able to bust this expansion with this 3 gate, and because he failed to do so, now he's just incredibly far behind, because even if GosuDark gets his 3rd base up, he still needs to build a robotics at some point. Still needs to get his own observers, still needs to do, I mean, he has robotics now.
Yeah,
but I mean, supply-wise, it's just not looking good for GosuDark. That being said, though, Revolver, again, it's very defensive, so though OyA, because again, like you mentioned earlier, kogeT, it's easier to attack from the 12 o'clock or from the high ground side. So OyA, once he gets his shuttle out, like you said, with his Reavers, he will be able to siege down this this expansion.
Yes, correct. For this kind of Reaver sieges, I think this is a narrow path, right? From the bridge into the natural is quite narrow. So we could see another game like game 1 where actually OyA overextends a bit maybe in his defense. You know, he goes into the 3rd base and he's not really committed to defending in 1 point. I don't know. Or that attack could fail for sake. I mean, it's a narrow path, you know, losing a shuttle. Sorry, I meant game 2 when, you know, when the Storm actually got a shuttle. I think that was the crucial moment there. The Observer sees everything, so it's how OyA is going to react to this is the question. He doesn't know how late Robo Bay was. I don't think it's super clear to him that it was 3 gate, because it was a poor, well, I don't want to call it, but it was a rather
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I think if you were just consistently making goods from 2 gates, you might have had
he probably thinks it's 2 gate. He's like, well, I stopped it pretty easily and I took my expansion.
That's why he was attacking, right? Because I think he was so aggressive at some point, like, this is just 2 gate versus 2 gate. I will make sure it doesn't expand yet. Yeah. But then he's okay, there's so many units, this guy's pretty good. So he goes back to his regular stuff. And now with an Observer, he's in all the same tech buildings. So he might assume that they're also on relatively equal tech terms. I'm just gonna be muting between my talks because I have some loss.
Don't worry about it. I totally agree with your analysis here. And it looks like GosuDark, I think he might have a probe at mid-left, thinking about maybe taking a 3rd base. Meanwhile, though, OyA is massing gateways. It doesn't seem like I kind of had a lapse. Does he have a shuttle yet? OyA? No, right? He's just going pure gateway, man. Oh, he does have a Reaver somewhere. Okay, is that the shuttle maybe in the middle of the map? Oh, there it is. Yeah, so he does have the Reaver, but looking like he was trying to just harass, but instead he is going to take this expansion, or he might also go for a push and expand behind it. But yeah, I mean, GosuDark definitely in a bit of trouble here.
Sorry, I think I had some noises here. I hope you can.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay. All right. I will try to fix it. Yeah, I mean, this is very similar to what we've seen. OyA is just a bit more probes, faster attack, faster upgrades. Everything is looking great for him. By the way, on harassment, I think these are difficult positions to harass because all the minerals are away from you, so you kind of need to go around to harass natural and main. Harassing main, you know, you have so much vision to react to it. But again, look at this. So I think it is a timing for OyA. He has got 2 Reavers. I think it is good, but he needs to be clean with his play. I mean, this is a narrow path. You know, your units can get blocked.
Well, he does have shuttle speed, so it's all about how good, you know, we've seen this, if you watch any of the PvPs in ASL, this situation happens so often where someone's just sieging the other player and it's all shuttle Reaver versus shuttle Reaver micro, but it looks like a GosuDark not quite on top of his. A lot of the goons get baited forward and they take a lot of damage. The shuttle goes down!
No! Another time it's happening. So now it's 1 Reaver. All these units are clamped here. He can't progress any further. He needs to go back. Look at the supply. Okay, equal supply. So for a moment there. I mean, again, OyA with better economy and upgrade, so it is okay. But he lost a Reaver. It's now 2 Reavers for GosuDark. If he again decides to counterattack, I mean, he needs to be careful, same way as OyA was. Not careful. I mean. I don't think there is a potential to counterattack. I think GosuDark should recognize, okay, I got time, exactly, get a third base.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, is he going for a big attack now? Just anticipating that OyA is going to expand? And again, look at this, OyA is overextending.
It's just so hard because I feel like GosuDark, just his fundamentals are lagging a bit behind. No matter what happens in these games, OyA somehow ends up with more econ, more supply. And even though OyA there literally lost his shuttle and Reaver for free, he's still ahead and he has so many units. He's literally containing GosuDark on all fronts. When someone spreads a contain out this thin, it should be pretty easy for the containee to just push out, right? You just choose one side and you overwhelm it. And especially on Revolver, you can kind of ignore your ramp because the counterattack isn't good up the ramp. Looks like here comes a shuttle drop.
Nope. He sees their goons, goes back.
Well, he did force the probe pool, so that was pretty good.
For sure. And meantime, GosuDark goes for a double Templar Archives build to make mind control and storm drop at the same time.
My God, GosuDark is so lucky, actually, because, I mean, it's a missed opportunity there for OyA. He should have known that the shuttle could have been intercepted there, and GosuDark had no idea, but...
Sorry, he canceled the second Templar Archives, get 2 warping at the same time. Oh, the infamous Archons, Gypsy. The 2 Archons to change the tide of the game.
It's 2 Archons, man. GosuDark's 2 Archons, man. That's like his Kamehameha move.
And you know, and if he's good with his Reavers, this actually what is OyA doing? I mean, you can't flank like this, right?
No, you can't. Not up the ramp. Yeah.
Not having armies completely separate the lighters. I mean, there's so much land between these armies. So actually, this now, when is there?
Oh, this is bad though. Like, if you're GosuDark, you don't want to be busting this way. You want to be taking your own high ground.
I think it's okay, but he just needed a shuttle, right? He just needed to land.
But I mean, it's okay. But once, like, look, he's stuck on the ramp, and now it's such a huge flank here from OyA, and I mean, despite the fact that GosuDark has such a good army, this is the worst fight he could possibly take, man.
Reavers, they lag behind. I mean, this is looking really bad. There are so many girls and they're spread so wide that these Reavers will have no splash damage basically. He's adding more units. The Archon is coming in, but a single Archon is not going to be able to cut it. I don't know what. Oh, there's a big drop in the main of OyA. Maybe he's trying to kill the economy with Dark Templars. There's no observer. And also, he's getting all of the units. If he can get something.
Wait, is he going to kill that Nexus? Also, and he's also dropping the third, by the way. He's dropping the third too. Oh my God. Dude, if he kills... Well, he has... Oh my God.
What's happening, dude? Is OyA gonna lose this game? He's at such a huge supply advantage.
If
but
he went for the Robo, OyA wouldn't
Yeah.
even be able to make that one observer. But of course, he didn't know. He wanted to go for the value here, making sure he gets the value. But I mean, I think this Nexus is gonna fall because he needs to clean the 3 Dark Templars in his base.
Yeah,
Look
and
at that
OyA doesn't
observer.
know where to send his observer. He just realized that if he sends the observer to the 3rd base, he's gonna
Right.
lose his robotics. So he has to save his robotics first to keep making
Right.
observers. But now that gives so much time to that DT at the 3rd base to kill the Nexus. I think it's done.
Yeah, the Nexus
Oh
is done.
my god, dude.
And you know what is the big brain? Oh,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Storm! No, this is the Reaver!
But OyA's gonna lose the shuttle. No, because GosuDark's not
Oh, okay.
paying attention. He could have just won the game right there, GosuDark, I feel like. But OyA still, I mean, OyA has a decent supply lead still, so he can just wait for his natural or his main Nexus to rebuild. I mean, I mean, he's still in a good position, but that
the
was
problem
scary
is-
for a second.
The problem is GosuDark, despite his rather low economy for the game, almost mined down his main, and I can't see any plans to actually establish a 3rd base here. Meaning
Yeah.
killing that Nexus. I mean, the 3rd base was good, but ultimately they are on equal terms when it comes down to economy. And with OyA having just more army,
Yeah.
Reavers also, I think, you know, it's important. Reavers get better the smaller, you know, the fewer the units, the better the
Yeah.
Reavers, basically. While in big numbers it's Storm. But look at that army from GosuDark. I mean, this is a horrible
GosuDark
position
has to
from
go
OyA.
now. Yeah,
Oh my God,
OyA
he
is
needs to
taking
go
a terrible
back.
fight, but I
Oh.
think he recognizes it because he's
Yeah.
retreating.
He's gonna lose some units, but it's not gonna be enough. No, don't go in here. There's Storm also. No.
Oh my, yeah, dude, that was almost a bait.
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah,
OyA
that was almost. Yeah, he has so much more. He has so much more though. Yeah. I think by principle it wasn't so good. If Reavers were with Shadow there, then I mean,
Yeah.
we could have taken this, but not with that amount of unit advantage for Oyaji. What is the upgrade status? I mean, OyA has been upgrading consistently, so he's on +1. Okay, so this is okay. Actually, armor upgrade for OyA there. Interesting.
Well, yeah, the armor is all right because it's also
Yeah.
cheaper than the +2.
Yeah, and he doesn't even have temporal archives, right? Or does he?
Yeah. No, he does. He has an Archon, so
No, but OyA?
yeah,
Oh,
OyA
he
has
does.
he has
exactly.
Archons.
Yeah. Oh, look at that DT. No, cannons have been built. So, and there is that another shadow drop. I mean, I think it was spotted by a Dark Templar, maybe. But it's still very dangerous. I mean, army of GosuDark is in one place right now, and you know the best advantage for Storm drops is obviously to keep as few props as you can. Well, they are now arriving there. Okay. OyA, I think he smells blood now. He has good Reavers. He has good Archons. He's gonna land some big Scarab hits here. He's gonna take that one Dragoon.
I'm surprised
Okay.
he
Misclicks. He attacks his own
misclicks.
Reaver. Yeah.
I'm surprised
But
the Reavers don't actually
This is a
bug
tough
out.
fight. This is a tough fight. I don't know if I wouldn't go up the ramp. I mean,
Yeah.
and again here it's with a couple Zealots and an Archon, he may have enough time to just hold it before
Oh
the
my
main army
God.
arrives. Again, this is a tough fight. The Reaver are going.
This
straight
is
into-
insane from OyA. What kind? Is this gonna work? Actually, he has
I mean,
so
it
many
could
units.
work because the Reavers are actually doing some damage. Reavers from GosuDark are in the back, but look at this. The Archons are doing so much damage. The Reavers are.
Dude, that was insane, dude. OyA's gonna just threw away
Ooh.
the game there. I'm pretty sure. This is like the supplies are pretty even, but
The
now he has
Archons!
half his
Look
army.
at the Archons!
Are
They
just
have
insane.
tanked
He's not
so
gonna
much
kill that.
damage.
He has to kill that Nexus.
No, it's not gonna kill that Nexus. This Nexus is gonna stay, and everything died for OyA, and he's now down in supply. Equal basis. He has got a Storm Drop. Did he kill something? No, this is an empty shuttle.
Dude, what? That was the. I've never. Dude, he just
Yeah.
instantly pulled that trigger. He's like, yeah, I'm walking up here.
Yeah, I was
but-
saying I wouldn't go that big ramp. I wouldn't even think about going that little ramp.
Yeah. Even out of
Oh.
position, though. I mean, truth be told, GosuDark was a bit out of position, and especially when
Yeah.
that ramp is quite wide after you clear the eggs. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's such a YOLO, like, insane play, and it didn't work out. And I mean, I think he threw the game there because he was really far ahead, and now
Oh, look at this. This is also a tough position to attack. I mean, these guys they really like Gnarl jokes here.
Yeah.
This is very hard to attack, but the Reavers actually they easily fend off the army and give some space for GosuDark to engage here. I mean, there are no Reavers, there are no Storms, so obviously Reaver can do it, but now a lot of Zealots, a lot of Archons from OyA joining the fight, but it's really tricky. There's a Storm, he has got 200 energy, so it's like, yeah, 2 Storms potential currently. I think they're trading pretty equally, but there's a Reaver from OyA. If that goes in a position, there's no way of pushing any further. Well, GosuDark needs to be careful. I mean, look at this again. OyA has somewhat miraculously actually caught up in supply, even ahead in supply right now.
kogeT, I'm getting nerd chills right now. I'm getting the nerd chills, as Artosis would say, because this might be the one season GosuDark makes it out of the round of 24, and it's in the group of death. Can you believe that? He's in a position. I mean, it looks like the game is evening out, but this is his like make or break situation here, because for the past several seasons, GosuDark has been in every single pro league, but he does fall a bit short in the early stages, and to make it out of the group stages in arguably the hardest group,
right,
would just be like no one would have expected this. But I mean, he still has to grind this out here, and it looks like OyA, despite all that craziness, despite losing 2 Nexuses, despite just YOLOing his army into a ramp, is still ahead in supply, which is surprising to me.
Yeah, I mean, if he makes it, definitely a day to celebrate in Peru. I think he has an advantage. I mean, not sure about the upgrade. Well, maybe not advantage. Maybe it's again equal, but it seems like the way how he's approaching the fights is better for him. So maybe he understands the map a little bit better. Maybe this is the way how OyA plays. But it seems like every time GosuDark falls behind in supply, he finds a way to have a good fight, a better fight, and he equalizes. And now with, you know, as the bigger the armies go, that risk is just becoming bigger and bigger. Because to be honest, at this stage, it's gonna be one big fight, and that's gonna be it. There's not gonna be like, you know, small skirmishes anymore. OyA seems to be looking for a fight. He's rolling units up and down. He has got that supply advantage. Maybe some of that is still in probes. I don't know. This is actually, well, they are mined out in the main base also. He's upgrading still. Yeah, I mean, is this the moment when they both go 200-200 because there is no opportunity to even attack? I mean, I think the only place you can threaten is probably the 4 base now.
Well, we're getting into that territory of PvP where supply advantage isn't the most important. It's more so, you know, the upgrades, obviously, but also positioning.
Big storm drop. Oh, he lands. That was pretty good. Well, also this goons, and then another storm drop. So
yeah,
there was a third, and another storm drop, getting even more units. So these units were heavily damaged. He also got a lot of probes. I mean, 10 probes. I mean, at least probably around 10 probes, and also some damage of his goons. So a pretty good drop, because again, I think gas is, well, of course important, but I think it's more important to trade off minerals in this situation, so, you know, to get that overall army size higher. Wow, so 6 Archons, 2 Reavers. I feel like GosuDark likes to go for this more techie armies. We've seen that also in the PvZ versus StRyKeR. He enjoys those high-tech level units from Protoss, while OyA is more, you know, more gateway man, it seems like, you know, consistent zealot goon guy. And of course, I think long-term in PvP, this should favor GosuDark. There's another Shadow Drop. Is that just High Templars? No, that's actually Reaver. I like it. 2 Reavers. Oh, excellent positioning on those Scarabs, taking out 2 cannons with 2 Scarabs. And now this base is basically gone. Is that a moment we've seen in game 1 when GosuDark just gets triggered and says, okay, you know what, you've killed my economy. It's time to go. And then, yeah, how it's happening. Okay, very nice counterattack, but Zealots don't have the same damaging power as 2 Reavers. Ooh, the situation is developing now. So the army of OyA is going back to defend that Zealot harassment, while GosuDark is going for a top line, but there's a lot of army from OyA. I don't think there is a way to attack here. He needs to pull back. He's going to lose that Archon and maybe a Zealot. Oh, the same trick as OyA did maybe? No, not trying to bait him inside. So actually, at the end of the day, they've traded pretty equally, I think.
No,
4 bases.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely have. It looks like OyA did hold on to his mid right, though, so I think his harassment was a bit better than GosuDark's.
Another wave of Zealots. I like this. And also a Dark Templar. Ooh, 2 Reavers defending that base. Isn't that great? This is actually easily going to clean all those Zealots. No problem.
Yeah, I like how OyA clearly is playing a bit more defensively here, surprisingly enough, because, you know, we've been talking about how OyA is just so aggressive all day, but finally pulling those reavers back instead of harassing with them, just making sure his economy doesn't get disrupted. Of course, he has been reeling from that storm drop earlier, so probably now recognizing that he needs to just make sure he's still mining so he can still produce units. And overall, GosuDark is having such a hard time getting maxed. I mean, his economy is just
wow, look at that
lagging
army.
behind.
That's an interesting army. Okay, he escorted the shuttle a little bit. Now there are a lot of cannons, also a High Templar. Players constantly checking where the army is, trying to use the top line to see, if the army is still defending. Nice scarab shots, 4 Archons also, getting rid of these cannons instantly. But I mean, the GosuDark is trying to go for the top line again, but again, this is such a narrow path. Even few units from OyA are able to hold this, and now he's bleeding units while losing his 4th base. So, this is really bad. This is really bad for GosuDark. Actually, a storm in the middle of nowhere here. Good storms on the GosuDark army, but so many Archons that they are pretty much resisting any amount of storm damage with their 350 shields.
Yeah, GosuDark, I mean, just not
falling apart.
not the
9
attack.
supply.
Yeah, just kind of in the dumps, man, and it was unfortunate. I mean, I feel like OyG was definitely building up a lead towards the end there, but they were at 100 supply, both of them, for a while, and at some point it just turned into OyA getting maxed and GosuDark struggling on 150 supply. So, and now after this attack, I mean, you can see OyG has a commanding lead. OyA is probably going to be able to take a 5th base behind this as well, while defending everything and clearing the 3rd base from GosuDark. Storm goes off on a bunch of probes, but it's a little too, it's too little too late here. OyA just, with the extra base, with the 5th base, okay, DT might be able to stop this, but GosuDark just doesn't have the supply, I feel like.
What a hard game for GosuDark, defending the 2-gate zealot aggression very easily, going to that 3-gate where he definitely didn't find the damage he wanted to, but ultimately transitioning into an equal game with storm drops all over the place. And now we have a situation where he wasn't able to defend the 4th base, tried to attack for top line again, but basically got denied completely. And now it's down 80 supply. Look at how many Archons are there. I mean, this army is becoming mainly Archons at this point, and we know what it means.
Well, Archons are the best unit. I mean, they're insane. They're just going to plow through everything, even get on top of the Dragoons. A couple of Reavers there from the early game. GosuDark has managed to keep them alive. I feel like if he would have gone into a shuttle and used them kind of like how OyG was using them to harass the 4th base especially, maybe he could have gotten himself into a better position. But unfortunately, these 2 Reavers are just crawling around now, and the supply deficit is huge. Storm goes off, and now GosuDark's army's just split. He was trying to go back again to the top, but just his units are all
so
over
much
the place.
Protoss. This is so much Protoss, and I mean, again, as I was talking, I wouldn't go up that ramp, but I think it could be the moment with so many Archons, right? With so many Archons, the Storm Reaver, this could be the moment to actually go for the final blow. OyA now actually remembering what happened last time. He's still a little bit conservative about this, and he doesn't know how much advantage he has, right? He knows he killed the 4th base, but he doesn't know if GosuDark 100, 120, 140 supply. He knows he has an advantage. Now splitting the army into OyA, walking up the victor ramp here, completely smashing his opponent. Basically doubling, tripling almost supply of GosuDark, melting everything in blue, will secure this 2-1 victory and advance from the group already now with pretty clean games. I mean, overall, very good job for OyA and good game GosuDark.
I mean, the D2 player makes it out first in the, oh my god, of course my phone called, like. Alright, I dealt with that really fast. Yeah, OyA makes it through. GosuDark was really close. And he's going to be waiting in the losers, in the finals match, rather. But we still have a lot of games here. StRyKeR versus Sziky coming up next. So you don't want to go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break.
Yeah, don't go anywhere because StRyKeR versus Sziky, toilet break, maybe too fast. Too long for you to not miss the match.
And we're back, guys. Sziky versus StRyKeR coming up in just a second. The first game of the losers match here. Kind of surprising, of course. Sziky already up. You know, someone like Sziky, you wouldn't expect to be in a situation like this. But you know, especially in a ZVZ, I don't know. How do you feel about this matchup, kogeT? Because I know, again, you've been playing Zerg a lot recently. I'm sure you've played against some of these players in ZVZ. What do you expect from this matchup?
Right. Well, second what you said, you don't want to be Sziky and be in a loser match in a ZVZ, right?
Yeah.
A lot of big maps in the pool. Different build or advantages could happen here for sure. How I'm feeling, I mean, I actually started to like ZVZ way more than I used to in the past. I think I have changed my mindset about it to enjoy it a bit more, you know, just really find that balance in mind games and micro intense stuff. That's basically what is it about. This pair, Sziky versus StRyKeR, I don't know how strong StRyKER ZVZ is exactly, but Sziky CVZ is definitely top tier. I mean, his mirror micro, his link micro, his APM is there to win, to take on pretty much anyone in ZVZ, to be honest. So I think StRyKER is gonna have a challenge here, but as ZVZ is, it will very much come down to positioning of these players, overlord scouts, and the initial build orders. So speaking of, I expect Sziky to be probably more willing to 12-pull here. I expect at least, 1 or 2 12-pulls from him, maybe even every game. And if I were StRyKER in here, I wouldn't be, holding back from going something like 12 flash or something. Because again, I believe Sziky is very confident in ZVZ, and when you have that, you don't want to risk, right?
Well, the first map is going to be Aztec, so there's that.
Right. I don't think it matters so much for ZVZ. Obviously, what is a bit funny in here is how you how you scout over overlords and so, but it doesn't matter really. I mean, a lot of space to hide your links for sure. This kind of plays could counterplay, but other than that, I think ZVZ is the matchup that really the maps do not impact it so much as any other matchup. I mean, you expect your opponent to make links and mute us.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, the game is ready, so let's get right into it. StRyKER versus Sziky, game 1. In the bottom right, in the blue Zerg, it is StRyKER.
And in 12th position, we have red Zerg, we have Sziky. Okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, I agree. Sziky, I feel like every single BSL season has always been so impressive with his ZVZ, especially his Muta Micro, always on point, and he tends to play these, whenever I see him, he tends to play these kind of passive, sometimes overgas type builds where he's just trying to get into Mutalisks. So that's one thing that I've noticed. But StRyKER, he's the type of player that will kind of play mostly 12, 12, 11. He likes to go for that early expansion and kind of play like...
Yeah, which is super great in ZVZ, of course, right? It's a complete gamble to do 12 hatch, but look at this, already a scouting advantage for StRyKER. He's gonna see what Sziky is doing relatively soon, and he is going for 12 hatch. And we'll have 12 pull from Sziky. So exactly as I anticipated. And this makes sense, right? And this makes sense, and you see it a lot actually in ZVZ.
It was 11 hatch though, so that's an interesting adjustment from StRyKER. Not going 2 balls to the wall, but definitely he is going to have a nice advantage here. And generally, Sziky, like you said, with the 12th pool, you generally see that go into that 11, getting 12 gas and then 11 hatch here. So what do you expect here? Do you think he's going to go straight for Zergling speed? I feel like that's generally the standard in this build, or is he going to try and get into lair? Because I feel like if both players, let's say they both go speed or they both go lair, that's going to advantage StRyKER quite a lot.
Yeah, so first of all, he missed the overlord already. That means that he already has to make 6 links up front.
Yeah.
Well, he would have made anyway, but if he had his first scout, he might have changed it a little bit. Now, 11 hatch is a little bit more Zergling heavy than 12 hatch because you will be lacking some of that economy to be able to build up, from both hatcheries and tech up Spire. So it's actually better to not be so aggressive on your tech, but maintain some of that, Zergling pressure. Of course, 6 links, and this is speed first from Sziky, understandable. Versus 12 hatch, you would want to find some damage with your speed link timing. There is, a little bit of that before you. Oh, there's the one link just run around. He was looking for 9 pull here, spreading his links to find out if StRyKeR did not decide to run around with his 9 pull. He's still going back because he doesn't know.
StRyKeR went lair first, I think. He actually didn't go speed. Yeah. And we saw Sziky went speed. So what do you think is going to play out here?
I think this is still great for StRyKeR. Obviously, he's got a larva advantage, but he has to be careful. If he loses 2 links, he might be dead. If he loses 2 links for free, right? He made a drone also. Did he see? Oh, this is really ballsy now. Because making a drone here, I would only do it knowing that Sziky also made a drone. But if he didn't see it, and I don't think he did, he could be in danger here. No, it's 8 links versus 10 links, right? Okay, so not really. Yeah, he's trying to find that speed window. The speed just kicked in. Very good job. This is super important. These 2 links will now... Yeah, maybe we'll be able to pick a drone or 2. That would be amazing if you can pick a drone. But it also, what it does is that it makes StRyKeR extremely unsecure because he needs to spread his links. And he doesn't know when, links from Sziky could hit from the front.
Well, Zergling speed has... Nope, not yet. But it looks like StRyKER was
first.
Yeah, it looked like StRyKER tried to push out there, though. He's playing a bit aggressive. Sziky already pulling back. He actually has a sunk here, and he has drone.
He's not going to continue any aggression. He's going to try to drone up, and it is also because he's seen how many drones StRyKER has, so he could afford 1 or 2 extra drones. I'm still worried for Sziky, but we can see actually StRyKER adding more drones. I was worried because in theory Sunken is great, but this was still 11 hatch, right? You will have less larva. We've seen actually that StRyKER had more links than Sziky. And now that counterattack is happening, so he needs to hold him at ramp. No, he's gonna go back through the Sunken, but oh, this could be very dicey. This could be very dicey now. Okay, he's got a lot of links. He's able to hold here, and the counterattack is gonna be great. Oh, this is great for Sziky then. He made a lot of links.
Sziky has so many links here, only 3 links for StRyKER. And Sziky gets into the main base, and oh my god, StRyKER's actually he's pulling back all of his links that he went with
sure.
Yeah, I mean, this is looking really bad for StRyKER, but so far he hasn't lost any drones.
Right. Yeah, and these links are here, but they are also getting 3 pickups. 1 drone, 2 drones. No. 3 drones are gonna go down. Okay, almost 3 drones going down, but also some links. This is very worrisome. And you know what? This is what I was talking about when you play 11 hatch. It's not 12 hatch. You can't afford drones and links. You're gonna get stuck on one or another. And now a big army of links also at the front, and he's not able to afford a Spire. His Spire timing is much faster than Sziky. But what does it mean? He doesn't have money to make any mutas. Now he's adding a second gas.
Sziky has a huge bank behind this. It just spent 400 minerals, 400 gas, and unfortunately StRyKER still has that 400 gas bank, so he has no mutalisks on the way, and it looks like Sziky also has at least the same amount of links, if not more. So Sziky's threatening StRyKER on so many fronts here, both air and ground. Looks like Sziky's gonna come in before the mutalisks hatch. He's gonna take this fight because he sees he has more links.
Got so many more links.
Such a good fight.
Oh, this is GG. This is over. 1 muta is not gonna stop it, or 2 mutas per se. Zerglings will kill almost all the drones, and we know that Sziky's already railing a big group of mutas that just hatched 4 mutas probably at least. Okay, some skirt and muta on top of it. He has vision on the muta. He could preemptively target them. Another group of links killing the hatchery here. The Scourge is already chasing. 2 mutas is difficult to micro against this. He uses Scourge actually, but he's losing the drones in the main, and also is forced to fight with his individual mutas to not lose the drones. Looks like he's gonna be held. No, Sziky is just his micro and will pick up everything, and with the relative unit, it's gonna be GG any second from now.
Yeah, I mean, the supplies there, GG, called by StRyKER, quick game there, and man, I mean, you called it, you know, the 11 hatch just didn't seem to work there. Sziky had a good timing with his first speed and kind of ran away with it. StRyKER tried to do this counterattack, but just didn't really seem to have anything going for him. There was a sunk there already, and Sziky had the correct amount of links, both defending and counterattacking.
Correct, and I think these 2 links initially, they forced so much drones moving around, losing the mining time. And with economy of 10 drones, when 3 of them are not mining, I mean, this is just, you know, creating those differences and links going on was very well executed by Sziky. It's not easy to play 12 HUD versus 11 pool. Again, I believe the strength of 11 pool is more into big link aggression. So maybe he overdroned a little bit, or we've seen in some crucial moments, we've seen drones spawning, and that's where Sziky was really getting the momentum, you know, pressure the front, run in more links, and ultimately win on both economical and units.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because you know, StRyKeR had such a clear layer timing advantage, and he saw it with his Overlord. Like, he confirmed there was 12 pool from Sziky. He confirmed there was speed first. Yeah. So you would expect, you know, the fact that he tried to go aggressively, even before, like, you saw he was moving his Zerglings outside of his natural, even before speed finished. So I think he was maybe a bit undecisive with his overall strategy. You know, either you pick one or the other. You're either going all in links and pressuring your Zerg or your opponent, or you're going into Spire and trying to bank up some resources and just play defensively. But I feel like he was trying to do both at the same time, and like you kept saying, I mean, 11 hatch, not quite the economy you need to do that type of play. And well, he's gonna be down 0-1, and Ascension is gonna be the map pick here from StRyKeR. The game's already made, so let's get into game 2. StRyKeR must win to stay in this tournament.
All right. So we do have those beautiful horizontal positions at the bottom left side of Ascension. We have StRyKeR.
And in the bottom right, it is Sziky. Now, Ascension, very similar to Aztec in that it's a 3-player map.
Yeah.
So how do you think that's gonna affect the build orders here? I mean, last game StRyKeR went for hatch first. Do you think he's gonna do it again?
I think he should do it again. First of all, Ascension has got unusually long rush distances. So if you go 9 pull here, and the opponent goes 11 hatch, they can actually somewhat hold it. If they go 12 pull, you're basically gonna face their links at the natural. You're not gonna even pressure the hatch reel.
Yeah.
So I don't think 9 pull is really what Sziky is gonna be going for. And because you're 0-1 already, I don't think you're gonna go 9 pull as StRyKeR. I would go to say, okay, this is actually 9 pull. So very interesting. Sziky confident, he basically out micros Sziky.
Yeah.
Is a StRyKeR with links. You know, despite having the build order disadvantage, he was able to really regain that advantage very quickly. So the question is, if StRyKeR goes 12 pull, he does. Okay. So it is gonna be 12 pull versus
11 pull.
11 pull. Okay, that's even that's an interesting one. It doesn't really matter. It's like 12 pull. Consider this.
Yeah. I mean, the archetype is the same. I feel like for the most part, because you know, there's always all these in between builds as well. You know, you could you could even go over pull. You could even go over gas. You could go some weird number. But you know, I feel like it comes down to, are you building your pull before your Overlord, after your Overlord, or after your hatchery? You know, and
right. And here it doesn't matter because you will have the same 6 links timing, right?
Yeah.
Because you're limited by larva, not by timing of a pool. So it's the same build really. You're gonna have your 4 links faster, and then you know your additional 2 links will follow maybe 2 seconds later. But versus 9 pull, it doesn't matter because you're not gonna be engaging 9 pull anyway. But again, because of what I said, because of the distance in this map, this 9 pull should arrive at the natural when this link is already hatched. So from a defensive perspective, StRyKeR should be happy with what is coming at him. Although he doesn't have a scout, Sziky does have it. Sziky might even consider hiding his Zerglings, making 8, 9, 10, you know, 8, 10. Okay, no, he's not gonna hide him. He's gonna run just under the Overlord. So now he's committed to going for it. Yeah, and you can see the Zerglings are already done. I mean, on Fighting Spirit, if you define 9 pull with 12 pull, you pay. Oh, what is happening here? You can't find this like this. No. Oh, that's stressful for me. On Fighting Spirit, these Zerglings would be attacking the hatchery, but look at this. Zerglings close together. Sziky maybe looking for a fight. His speed will be done soon. He's pulling the drone. That is important. Oh, this Zergling's a little bit trapped here. He's gonna run in the main.
No, that was beautiful from StRyKeR, actually.
Oh my god. almost all the links die. I mean, this might be some heavily damaged Zerglings, and now the speed is up. He needs to be very careful with his drones. He's not losing that drone. He just needs to make sure to not lose drones and constantly produce Zerglings. If he's able to kill these links without losing any drones and Zerglings, then the counter-attack will be deadly from StRyKeR, because he will have so much more larva that he will be able to outmass his opponent. But look at his first drone is going down. He doesn't have his speed upgrade yet. He did not pull drones from gas also. He's making Lair. That is a bit ambitious, to be honest. I mean, Lair is great, of course, but I think he needs to prioritize the Zerglings aggression here and pull off from gas to make sure that he gets enough minerals to actually fight back.
Yeah, StRyKeR, I feel like a bit of his nerves are showing here, because both games he's had the build order advantage, but it seems like he just can't compose himself and have one clear plan, either defend or attack. And it looks like here he's still defending pretty well, and he has a... Oh no, he actually pulled... See, those lings were going to attack actually, but he pulled them back.
Yeah.
Now, he cleared
this... No, he's making drones. No. Oh, this is not good. He shouldn't be making... Maybe cancel... He took so much damage.
Yeah,
he should
no, I
cancel
agree.
the Lair, go mass link, try to do some damage with mass link, and then make spore. I think now he's just gonna not have any autonomy, and making drones now is basically saying, well, Sziky, now you can... Sziky's just gonna keep on making links probably now, and these 3 mutas are gonna force the sunken transition anyway. Sorry, the spore transition anyway.
Yeah, I agree. The Spire
no
seems
money
to be
yeah,
really late.
Yeah, and the problem is that he's trying to defend 9 pull with Spire. The problem is that you can't do it if you suffered so much damage. You can defend 9 pull Spire with 12 pull Spire if you took no damage. Then you basically don't need spores, because your Spire is gonna be just maybe slightly slower or almost the same. But this situation is different. He took so much damage. He's not gonna afford. He's gonna die from links.
Looks like Sziky is also pressuring the hatchery, so...
Yeah.
He's gonna take a good fight too. I feel like... so unfortunate, because StRyKeR also had more supply, so I don't know if it's literally just in drones, and like you mentioned...
He made drones. Yeah. Oh, this actually is pretty good for StRyKeR. He's not gonna be able to snipe this. I don't think he will be able. This is too much hatchery still to damage. Now he's making links, of course, because he knows that he's gonna die, but now these links are worthless because Sziky has got a sunken and his Spires are finished as well. So the 3 mutas that are hatching will destroy StRyKER's economy very, very soon. Even if he builds some mutas himself, I mean, they're just gonna be too late because his Spire is so off and his economy is so small.
Well, that being said, once the mutas are hatching, that does create a lull in the Zergling production from Sziky. He does have a sunk, though.
Not going for it, okay. Good. Well, this is pretty okay for StRyKER, actually, because he didn't lose the hatchery. I think that was important. So,
StRyKER looks like he's still in a decent position here. He has the 2 hatcheries. Now his Spire is finished. Wow. So, will Sziky try and dive that hatchery to finish it off, or will he go for the drones?
Yeah, I think like he's going for hatchery. That's probably a good decision, because if they are scourge hatching, and they are... Wow.
Oh, but this is gonna be so close. He has
Wait
he has like 3 larva advantage here, so StRyKER can actually just win the game.
Look at the micro. Oh no,
depending on how these scourge connect.
Yeah. Now 1 muta is already down because the scourge connected. Okay, he connected on the. He killed the second scourge, but the mutas are doing so much damage while this is happening.
This is some really nice moving shot from StRyKER actually.
Yeah, and also Sziky very, very precise there on his moving shot on the scourge. The only way you can micro this scourge that are just following your tail is to move click on them. You can't use patrol, because then the scourge will always connect. So very clean moves there. But now look at what happened. I mean, this is ZVZ. Very supply. How did this happen? It's because of these links that didn't kill the hatch, I think, right?
Yeah.
He had so few larvae, Sziky. He decided to kill the hatchery, but then he lost like 6 links for nothing, because he tried so hard.
He can still kill this hatchery, maybe with the bounces. It's so close, because obviously if Sziky commits to kill the hatchery, he's gonna put his mutalisks in like a compromised position. But StRyKER has so many links.
I'm impressed by StRyKER here. This looked so shaky. This looked so bad. He went for that Spire defense. He's seen an opportunity to hold it. He barely miraculously held his hatchery. Then he held it versus Muta with a bunch of Scourge popping out. And now it's 2 hatchery versus 1.
Well, will Sziky go for the hatchery though? And
no, he needs to fight a Muta. It's all about gas now.
Yeah.
Oh, good connection from Scourge. 4 Muta versus how many? 3? Okay, look at this. Is Sziky gonna out-micro him? He's out-microing him hard now. Wow, he completely out-microed him. StRyKER was not on top of his Mutas. And when you lose a Muta battle in ZVZ, this is a no recovery. Oh no.
That's so
He did not
unfortunate.
micro. He did not micro his unit there. If he just hold back and micro. Wow. Sziky, what a beast. Okay. Now it's over.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking for StRyKeR. He definitely he had everything he needed to win this game, and
Exactly.
I think maybe with the Lings, all you have to do is just make sure your opponent's not taking his natural for free, and you just sit your units and keep massing off the 2 hatcheries because you have the second gas. But
I think it was all great. He just didn't control his Muta for seconds.
Yeah.
That's it. He allowed to he allowed Zeke to pick up free Scourge for free. Scourge was flying somewhere, and Muta were not chasing. They were going by one, while Sziky was just targeting them individually. Yeah. Wow.
Well, now, I mean, there's still a chance here for StRyKeR maybe, but this micro is too clean for
No. Yeah,
GG.
that's just GG. Oh, sorry for being a bit cynical there, but
Oh,
in
no.
that position way too many times. So,
No, for sure, man. But again, it's BSL. You never know what's gonna happen. But no, definitely StRyKeR up against the wall towards the end there. He had the chance to win that game, but unfortunately, I mean, Sziky just such a beast at controlling his Mutalisks, and yeah, I mean, it was beautiful to watch.
especially the move commands there in that crucial battle when he was being chased by Skirt that were so close to him. That is extremely hard to do. It's difficult to do versus AI.
Yeah.
Not even talking about a real player.
Well, StRyKeR is eliminated, and Sziky will go on to the last chance match here to face off against GosuDark in the last best of 3 that we have for you guys today. But before we get into that, we'll take a really, really quick break. Don't blink or you'll miss us. last game of today, Sziky versus GosuDark. Didn't expect this outcome, to be honest. I mean, GosuDark almost made it out of the group. But against Sziky here, I feel like he's going to be a bit of an underdog.
Yeah, he needs to pull out some of the of GosuDark tactics, I feel like. Could be some early, zero timing, some no courser game. I don't know. I feel like in a straight up game, it may be difficult for him just because of macro, right? I think this CVP is quite a macro intense matchup ultimately. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely not out of game. I think he can take down Sziky. He can take any Zerg with his style. Good high Templar drop, good Dark Templar drop, and tables can turn very quickly.
Well, he had a nice comeback against StRyKeR earlier today, so maybe if he can channel some of that energy into this game. Of course, first game is going to be on Aztec, and we've seen Aztec before. Again, I'm still thinking about that Hawk versus Bonnet game. Hawk made the map look so Zerg favored. I don't know how you feel about this map. It looks like it's, like, statistically, it's actually good for Protoss. But the game is ready, so let's just get right into it. Game 1, GosuDark versus Sziky in the last chance match.
Okay. So, at the left position, I don't know, what is it, 7 o'clock?
Yeah, something like that.
We have our, okay, thanks for waiting with that, Blue Zerg. And that is Sziky.
Yeah, and at 12 o'clock, we've got GosuDark in the red Protoss.
And, innovative prop mining.
kogeT, I have to ask you, like, what do you think about this map? I was surprised, actually, because the statistics look pretty good for Protoss, but I feel like this would be a hard map for Protoss versus Zerg. I don't know.
So the thing here is that I like this map a lot, and this is very close to my heart because I used to play a lot, the game a lot in the times when this map was around, and also later in ICAP different seasons. So the thing about free player maps in ZVP is that if Zerg gets to have a hatchery at the other spawn, then Protoss is not expanding anymore in this game, right?
Yeah.
You can kind of like carve out your 2/3 of the pizza, and the timer is gonna be on a Protoss.
Yeah.
So I think late game here definitely favors Zerg if they can get right expansions. And by the way, it's very difficult for Protoss to take these expansions because they're so far out.
Yeah.
Early game though, and again, especially in the current meta, think about it. There is no good third base for Zerg unless you take the faraway base. So I believe as Zerg, you're kind of forced to take the natural base on the other side of the map, a bit more, classical meta for ZVP, which is of course played widely.
Yeah, I actually, now that you mentioned that, and I was thinking about it here, I remember Hawk versus Bonnet was specifically on Zerg spawning here at mid left where Sziky is, but Hawk was at bottom right. And I think on this map, if Zerg spawns clockwise from the Protoss, Sziky could easily take that third base that you're talking about at top left. But because GosuDark spawns at 12 o'clock here, that base doesn't seem so good because it's much closer to Protoss. And in that situation, I agree with you. Like, if he takes, I guess, the mirror base at bottom left, that seems like okay, but it is so far away. So, and if it's that far away, I totally agree with you. Why not just take another natural?
If you start far away, you're basically not able to defend it with Hydra in a mid game. That's the issue you run into. And if you're not able to defend it with Hydra, what do? Go Muta and Suncans? I mean, wow. Gas steal, that is interesting. Considering that Sziky actually wanted to throw that before his third hatchery. Okay, he's gonna throw his third hatchery now at, as we discussed, in a little bit far out base. No, this can't be right. Okay. Well, by the way, we've been talking GosuDark needs to pull out some of these GosuDark tactics.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm Sziky, I'm going 5 hatchery before my gas now.
Yeah.
I'm literally going, and I'm gonna double expand. I'm gonna just take another base. I mean.
Yeah, he actually let the gas finish. Both geysers finish. That's.
Whoa.
What?
So, wow, that's really, well.
I mean,
I would like to call it innovative, but by the way, Yeah, but now this geysers will. No, you're not gonna build another one. Now this geysers are down, so Sziky's very easy gonna catch up. He's just gonna add his hatcheries quicker, which is great for Zerg, because realistically, Zerg doesn't need gas in ZVP. He needs drones and units.
Well,
that's where Zerg wins.
Yeah, Zerg can flex between their opening build orders, like whether they,
sure.
some Zergs like that faster gas, 255, whatever, get into the layer.
Is the cannon ready? He's running here. Is the cannon?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, he has a cannon. But they can also play this just later gas style. I mean, he could still go layer because that double. I totally agree with you. Like intuitively, okay, you stole my double gas. I might as well just add another hatchery. But the reality is also that GosuDark, that was 200 gas. 200 minerals. That's the core, right? So it's delaying his build too. Well, not just that, but he has to get his assimilator for himself too, right? So even here, Sziky, 4th hatch and the lair, it's still pretty decently on time relative to the core. So this is why I think you generally don't see gas steal in PvZ, because it didn't really accomplish anything for GosuDark, and Sziky basically has a later tech but with more drones, but relatively speaking, his tech is the same as Protoss's.
Sziky is going to have a tremendous economy, and like I said, this is key for ZVP. I take huge economy, no tech over a mediocre economy and full tech anytime.
Yeah.
As Zerg, because as soon as you land at Hydrodan, you can add 3 evolution chambers very easily. If you can afford, you add 3 evolution chambers and you upgrade, melee attack and range attack and car pace at the same time, and you hold everything with that.
Yeah.
The problem is when you're pushed both tech, from a tech perspective. So there are Corsairs, you need to match Corsairs DTs, and at the same time you're pushed economically, meaning there's a lot of Zilla. That's where it's hard to balance your economy. Right now, GosuDark doesn't have +1 going, he doesn't have many Zealots, and his Corsair tech is rather late. I feel Sziky should just land another hatchery, go for Hydrodan, and just mass Hydra, and he will be in an amazing spot. Nothing else to be done.
I feel like Sziky has all the options in the world. His 5th hatch starting. He also has a Spire on the way.
Yeah,
he's
also a bit late 5th hatch. Interestingly, a late 5th hatch, right?
He has his fast 2nd gas here, so I'm thinking he wants to go for Mutalisk. I mean, generally that's what you do.
Right.
He just has everything though, because he can afford Mutalisks and 5 hatches, and Protoss's tech is so delayed that generally Protoss has a faster tech, so you're limited to, okay, if I'm getting these mutas, I'm sacrificing my hatchery count. But this time around, he's not. So Sziky is just across the board ahead because of that double gas deal.
Also that Corsair now here, so Sziky knows this is not some kind of a mass Zealot.
Yeah, he spawned all those Overlords, you saw that, he's really looking for that Mutalisk.
And that is all Muta now, and that is a big problem, because +1 is ages from here, there's no cannon yet, so that's gonna force into spending even more minerals on static defense. And because how big economy of Sziky is, look, he's starting a 6 hatch already. That is fast. That is a fast 6 hatch. He will put pressure on him with all the Mutalisks. He's also making a Sunken just to be a triple safe, you could say here. He probably doesn't even need it. Maybe versus Dark Templar, that is going to come at some point. But now GosuDark, he's going to be on a back foot. He was on a back foot because of the opener. And the 2nd Stargate, you see the 2nd gas? That could be a way back into the game.
Yeah.
I mean, not much left, I would say. Other than this
I agree with you, and it looks like, if he's gonna even have the time, because Scourge are gonna connect with the Corsairs. No cannon. Oh my God, dude! Those 2 Corsairs go down. Only 1 Corsair against a couple of Mutalisks here, and this probe line is dead. Those cannons are not gonna get up. The 3rd Corsair dies as well. No double Stargate at all. I think double Stargate finishes now, so maybe, but this is going to be so much damage, and like you mentioned, kogeT, Sziky's got 6 hatcheries behind this.
Yeah, 6 hatcheries, full saturation. Isn't this ironic that you try to delay Zerg's tech and you're getting killed by them having faster tech than you, basically?
I totally agree. Yeah, it's hilarious. That's exactly what it was. Like, GosuDark is like, oh no, you're not getting your lair that fast, but it just delayed his tech so much that he ended up behind.
and Ziki has 6 hats behind them, and usually you don't have 6 hatcheries either.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, there are already 20 Hydras on the map. I mean,
Yeah.
we're debating how to kill 3 Mutas with double target, and there are already 20 Hydras.
Exactly.
In the base.
Exactly.
I think even with best skills and the best storms, and so this may not be enough for GosuDark to come back into this game. His minerals, his mining in his main base is now completely denied because of a few Mutas remaining. I mean, Sziky has been on top of his macro. He's exceeding GosuDark supply by almost 20 now. His upgrades are going. He's got his Hydra, he's got his Ovi speed maybe even. He's seen a Dark Templar, so probably Ovi speed is either soon to be done or already finished. There is an Overlord, right? Is there an Overlord? Yeah, there's an Overlord here. This is the one that is gonna chase the Dark Templars also. Meaning, so no, even without Ovi speed, he will be able to kill it. And he's just gonna go to the top and he's gonna kill that Dark Templar. Where is it?
It's on the way. It's
going down,
crawling
right?
there. Yeah, it's floating there.
Yeah.
But it doesn't even matter. I mean, there's no Templar. There's only 2 cannons, so many Hydras, and Sziky is going to barrel through this wall. I mean, okay, the Corsairs are there to kill the Overlord, so I guess this DP will eventually, after 10 hours, maybe kill these Hydras, but not before, I think, before they kill the Natural.
Right. No, this game is over. GosuDark should really start thinking how he's still gonna approach the next game, and maybe it's not gonna be the triple simulator opening as he did in this game.
GG.
GG.
Yeah, the triple simulator opening, man. Well, it turns out it's not. It's maybe not a build, unfortunately. But I mean, you can understand. That's the thing about StarCraft, right? Like, there are some things about StarCraft that seem intuitive. Actually, I do want to mention this. I feel like a lot of this intuitive aspect is lost in like the asymmetry of a lot of matchups, right? And this is what happens a lot in TVP, where Terrans think like, oh, I mean, Protoss has a fast third base. I can expand also. I should just match the Protoss's economy. In this case, it was like, oh, well, I can delay Zerg's gas because, I'll just take their gas and my tech is going to be ahead, obviously, right? Well, it's intuitive. You can understand the reasoning, but the asymmetry in StarCraft is such that you can't apply those concepts always like one-to-one like that.
Right, yeah. Protoss stealing Terran gas is not exactly similar to stealing Zerg's gas. Zerg has got very different tools and very different dependencies on their tech than Terran, which needs to go mech and needs to put themselves into that progressive tech development and upgrades and so on. And basically, you can't fast track anything. But with Zerg, he can just add an extra hatch and and just add an extra Evo, and he's just gonna catch up with everything easily. And moreover, be even ahead of him.
Yeah, I mean, even his lair was just straight up like same
it was
as the core.
Right. I think ultimately the tech timing for Sziky was at least similar if GosuDark didn't do it. Because the Corsair got there just before the Spire finished, which is often happening. I mean, usually you want to get it much faster. That's when Protoss tech is good, right?
Yes.
But we've seen, because the economy was so big, he could make a bunch of Mutas, bunch of Scourge, and have 6 hatch behind.
Well, who knows? Maybe he shouldn't have canceled that second gas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, no, I don't know. That was definitely not the. Let's just say that didn't work out for GosuDark. It was an interesting idea that didn't quite work out, and I was gonna say it's now his map pick, and he goes for Goodnight, and Goodnight is gonna be game 2. GosuDark is gonna try to win this game to stay in the tournament. Let's get into the game. Or, we can just chill. Okay, well, guys, I debated you, but we'll get into the game as soon as we start. Yeah, I mean, you know what, Zero, just get us into the game when it's ready. Oh, is it ready? Okay, let's just get into it.
You want to go, Gypsy?
Oh no, you can do the honors.
Excellent. So, at the bottom right corner of Goodnight, with the triple assimilator Protoss, it's GosuDark.
You can do this one too, man.
All right. So in a blood red, we have the 6-hatch Zerg. And that's Sziky.
So, kogeT, how do you feel about this map here?
It's great. I think it's a fair map. I think it's a fair map. I mean, so I'm playing mostly ZVP on ladder, probably because population of Protoss is exceeding any
pretty high.
Population. Right. So I get a lot of ZVP, and I also get a lot of ZVP on this particular map. I like the map. I think it's fine. I mean, you get this. Depends on the positions, of course. I mean, in this position, your third base is Zerg is a little bit meh. So you know the mineral only. I mean, it's a little bit out there.
Yeah.
So your fourth base. So your fourth base maybe is the mineral only that is at the top of your third base. You get it going, right?
Yeah.
Wow. By the way, this is inmate.
Whoa.
So I may want to leave my Fury crafting a little bit for later. But this is a 9-pool with a gastric versus an in-base pylon, which should favor GosuDark greatly. This is a great opening. If he goes 2 gates, is he going 2 gate?
Is he doing the mini build, man?
2 gate would be, yeah, it is. 2 gate versus this build is lovely. This is Protoss grounds, especially if Sziky for some reason turns the Overlord around, recognizing that there is no one here. Then this could be really rough for him. But overall, this should be an advantage to Protoss, where you basically keep on making zealots, and because of that, you force Zerg into making Zerglings, and because their hatchery is so late, their economy is just going to be very poor compared to yours, so you can just follow up with an expansion and be straight ahead, or even kill them, because again, if you don't make your Zerglings all the time. Did he move his Overlord?
No, he's actually going straight to the natural.
What? He's still going?
Yeah.
What? Yeah. No, it's okay. I mean, I understand it. This is because this
I'm surprised. That's like just I feel like that's good presence of mind. You know, I feel like in a tournament game, you're trying to get all the possible edges, and you're just assuming, okay, he's not expanding, but Sziky with great discipline full scouts it, and it pays dividends. And now, well, you know, it is bad for Zerg, and you know, this isn't the most ideal opening.
He needs to be careful.
But are they gonna get inside?
Oh, if they get inside, this is not so good because they will never die. Okay, no. Oh.
Well, he has to just counter, right?
Yeah, he needs to counter with 3 for sure, and now he needs to. But 5 links is so much. I think. Okay, 1 zealot is staying in the base. I kind of agree with this because I don't think you can just hold this with probes. Now 3 probes and 2 zealots are going to Sziky's base. I mean, you should be making only Zerglings now, but this 5 links catching the zealot already is so low. I mean, we're again seeing the same situation where Sziky is just so good with his micro. He's not losing any links. He's applying pressure. He's doing damage while the attack is approaching his natural. I mean, what is going to be the response? How many Zerglings are scattered? Is it like 4 Zerglings? 4 Zerglings? 5 Zerglings now, maybe?
Yeah, and
just 2 zealots. This is not
enough. He's gonna pull some drones as well to try and make some sounds. He has so many minerals to work with. Yeah, it looks like GosuDark's quickly getting into a bad situation, and a lot of his mining is getting delayed by these.
I think it's still okay, but he needs to be able to somehow clear these links. I mean, as long as he's able to connect and, you know, get like 9, 11 zealots out of this is still a big threat for Zerg, because again, if he's making Zerglings and Sankens, he has got no economy. And again, look at the Sublime and it says nothing. No, you should be.
Oh wait, no, but this is such a good fight actually for GosuDark.
The Sanken is not ready, and the probes did an amazing job then blocking and doing that additional damage, so Zealots can 2-hit every Zerg, and the probes goes down now, but the Zealots, look at that concave.
Oh my god!
Beautiful! Can he walk it in the main?
Look at this micro though, the wide walk up the ramp. If he gets like 3
Zealots, this is it!
That's huge!
Perfect! Both Sankens ready, but there are no units. But he needs to take it all together. He can't bleed Zealots right now. Kills it Zerglings somehow. I don't know how to do this. Okay. Seems like Sziky is gonna clean it up. Zealots were so low, but again, the damage has been down.
Another zealot though.
No!
What?
Did he lose all the probes?
No. Did he?
Did he lose all the probes?
He just GG? He killed the lings. He
killed the lings
in the main base.
He forced 2 Sankens also, right? So I think this was
quite a lot of
damage. All right. Well, poor GosuDark. I mean.
That's so unfortunate, man. That's when you know the nerves get to you, right? You just think your opponent has everything, but he was in a fine spot.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, at least maybe not an advantage because these links were annoying, but for sure he had a chance to continue that game and yeah, go into distance.
Wow. Well, kind of a shock ending there, but Sziky does win out. I'm still kind of at a loss for words, but Sziky does get through this group in second place here, following OyA. Clutch. Well, I mean, I feel like these games against GosuDark were pretty straightforward. That last game, though, could have been a disaster, but he did pilot through it well. And against StRyKeR, Sziky showed. I mean, there was one moment in game 2 where it seemed like Sziky might have lost, but overall he seemed extremely solid in both of these games here against StRyKeR and GosuDark. So, at the end of the day, we have OyA coming out first in the group after beating Sziky and GosuDark. And Sziky, of course, through the bottom side of the bracket, making it out in second. Pretty much what we expected. I think maybe you and I, kogeT, would have thought Sziky would have made it out first in the group, but...
Yeah, I think so. This was a possibility, but overall, very good performance from our two players to advance from group. I mean, OyA slipped one game to GosuDark, but also had an advantage there. Sziky clean wins versus StRyKeR, clean wins versus GosuDark. Very shaky first game versus OyA, but overall, managed to go into the round of 16. So, very good job by both of them. I think we had some very good games tonight.
Yeah, this group was. I think it lived up to the hype of Group of Death. I feel like the games overall were really solid and exciting. But I mean, this is the BSL, man. We have the best players outside of Korea. I feel like so far, even the other groups, like I remember that Quark versus Ultra series was insane. And even some of the games earlier, what was it? I remember that Dark versus Cross game. Just so many good games so far in the round of 24. And we still have 2 more groups to go, so it's not even over.
By the way, I'm checking the stream for the last game, and it seems indeed that GosuDark has lost almost all the probes to a link.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, okay. I think he was like down to like 4 or 3 probes, something like that. So now we understand the decision.
That's so unfortunate because I remember looking at it. Like there's like 2 links and they were like dying and somehow
he started microing and then he stopped microing with with his probes probably.
That's so unfortunate.
Yeah.
Well,
heading to conclusions, I guess.
Exactly, dude. Well, anyway, that game was still kind of nutty, and that's it for today. Of course, we still have a lot of people to thank, the Patreons and stuff. Waiting, getting into the page here. Of course, Star Lover, Bombastic General, StRyKeR Grail, Colonels, of course, Tupacalypse, the one and only, Croat, everyone loves him, Major Plus, and then Christian Eddington, Martin Horsmar, LML Linga Pump as the Bombastic Majors, and this wouldn't be possible without the support of Esport Fun, and most importantly, the support of everyone. Today we had that fat donation from Pure Pat.
Donation, yeah.
$1,000. Can you believe that? Just absolutely insane.
Bombastic donation for sure.
Yeah, it was bombastic. And of course, guys, you can always check the shop as well. You can donate. You can subscribe to Zero's channel. So many ways to support. Also, make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube, because that's where we've been uploading a lot of the VODs. And yeah, I mean, that's about it. Next week we are going to have groups E and F, right? I'm pretty sure that's how the alphabet goes.
Correct.
So groups E and F, which are going to be insane.
Yeah, actually, Group E looks like a group of death to me too.
Yeah.
Dandy, Danmarks, Gornich, Boa. I mean, that is same strong as today, or even stronger maybe.
Yeah. No,
I agree. Don't miss out on this one.
Well, also Group F, man. I mean, Hawk, Kenzie, TT1, SPX. I feel like
I didn't even look at that one.
That one, anyone can make it out of there. I think right now Hawk is looking amazing. But I mean, Kenzie, old school Gosu. TT1, absolutely old school Gosu. SPX has been solid as a rock throughout these past couple of years, always showing good results in BSL. One of the, you know how rare the solid Terrans are, kogeT. It's always impressive to see someone up there, constantly in BSL playing Terran. So SPX, just an awesome player as well. Yeah,
For sure,
and we're gonna check the replay. So actually, that is what happened, dude. The thing is, he had a zealot there, and he just moved it away.
Yeah.
That is so unfortunate, man.
Yeah, down to 3 probes. Exactly.
Okay, well,
yeah, to 1 probe.
at least he didn't leave with an advantage, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. Cool. This reminds me, by the way, of ZVP alternative scenarios where you have 1 probe in your main, and it kills 4 or 5 drones while you're
Yeah.
This also happens sometimes. Anyhow, guys, thank you very much for inviting me for the cast.
I was gonna say, dude, it was a pleasure casting with you, kogeT. I'm happy you came on here to save me, because I don't think, and save the chat. I don't think anyone would have wanted to hear me yap for like 3 hours.
That would be great. I'm gonna try that for the next time.
With you, dude.
No, likewise. You too, Gypsy. Very nice commenting from your side too. So thanks for this, and thanks Zero for inviting, and for all the viewers, of course, for watching and supporting BSL. Let's keep on doing this for another 10 years of StarCraft or more.
Yeah, and till next week, guys. Same time, same place. See you then.
Cheers, everyone. Have a good night. Bye.